731-462-8580. That's 731-462-8580.
It's always severe weather season in West Tennessee. When severe weather strikes, we are here for you. 96.5 FM, News Talk WTN.com.
Walker Talks with Chuck Walker. Weekdays 10 to 1. Only on 96.5 FM. News Talk West Tennessee and NewsTalkWTN.com.
Welcome back to another day at the Masters. Men holding clubs, whacking at something small on the ground. Modern day cavemen. Some hairy, some shaven, but all at the Masters on CBS.
I feel I've got to run away.
Today is National Beer Day.
It's National Beer Day.
Beer.
Here it is.
The world's most widely consumed alcoholic beverage.
Don't you like beer? I mean, I love beer.
Beer's good.
Beer is courage. Beer. I am not chugging beer.
Showtime, baby.
Good Friday afternoon. We begin that literally. Good Friday afternoon. My name's Dan Reeves, along with Dr. Mark Fowler and Larry Newman. Hello, Doc.
Hello, Dan. How are you?
Doing fine. How are you, sir?
Oh, it's a fantastic Good Friday afternoon.
It is gorgeous outside. Hello, Newman.
Hello, Reeves.
58 degrees right now. You know, I say gorgeous, I'm exaggerating just a bit, but it's, comparatively speaking, specifically of yesterday, it's nice outside. And it should be a nice weekend, too. 47 tonight. We'll stay mostly cloudy all the way through to probably midday or in the afternoon. Tomorrow's high only 57. 49 Saturday night. But Easter Sunday, partly sunny and 65 degrees. We've had better, but we've had much worse weather for Easter Sunday. Today's forecast being presented by Dustin Ring. Dustin buys houses fast for cash. DustinBuys.com. Plus tax. DustinBuys.com. You can call 731-200-1362. 731-200-1362. Dustin buys houses fast for cash. House, trailers, land. 731-200-1362. Well, a lot going on today. Doc, what's got your attention on this Friday?
Well,
Good Friday, by the way.
I hate to say this, but the fiasco in Nashville is on my radar this morning. You know, Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, is going to meet with the two legislators that were expelled from the Tennessee House yesterday. I just want to make this subtle observation. She did not feel so inclined to meet with the families of the individuals that were killed in the Covenant School shooting, but she is meeting with the members who were expelled, which I think is bad optics to me.
Well, it's a bad political move.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I wonder in the back of my mind whether expulsion was the appropriate remedy for what they did, and that would be a judgment up to the members of the House themselves, which they got an opportunity to think about and vote on. Maybe it was too severe, maybe it was not. But you have to remember that these three held the House hostage, really, for roughly an hour, disrupting business. And we don't have a mobocracy. We have a democracy, and there are rules and there are mechanisms for protesting and making your thoughts known. And if you're just going to turn it over into a mob party, then I think that's not a good thing. So There we are.
I agree with you on that. Expulsion, looking at it, it's happened like 3 times before in Tennessee. Right. But people were convicted of crimes, that sort of thing. Expulsion is supposed to be the last resort.
Right. Now, Chris Todd came and talked to us about it, or talked to us on the air about it, and he said there was censure and there was reprimand. There were 3 steps, and the last one was expulsion. And he felt very strongly that these individuals, and he included the lady in there as well, felt that they should be expelled for what they had done. And I can't say I necessarily disagree with him, because, again, they took the floor of the House for an hour, and they were admonished multiple times, and they refused to yield, and they stirred up the crowds in the gallery that were watching. This was troublesome.
Well, and so that's what went down. And yeah, they look like a couple of morons, all 3 morons. They're doing it, but I just wonder because the reaction from the rest of the from different parts of this state and across the country is a little bit of a shock. And you were right; it came up. It's so 2 of the 3, 2 black males, 1 white female. 2 black males in the legislature essentially were fired.
Right.
So, and she had some political capital built up. Evidently, she'd been there for a few years. They hadn't. They were freshmen, and so she survives by 1 vote.
1 vote. Yeah.
And,
which leads me to believe there was somebody for whom she had voted for some project or something, and they were returning a favor. But she was the one that began to turn it into a racial thing, and frankly, I don't think it was. But politicians do what politicians do.
Well, Larry, what do you think over there, big guy?
I think if 2 of them go, all 3 of them should go. They all did the same thing. So if it's bad enough to expel the other 2, they should have expelled the lady as well.
Would you say don't expunge any of them?
Don't expel any of them?
Did I say
expel all of them?
No, they will get expunged. That's right. I guarantee you. But expel all 3 of them?
Yeah.
Now, there's an interesting
or keep all 3.
Flip side to this, and that is that the Metro City Council, where at least 2 of them are from, have indicated they would just send them back. And nothing prevents them from coming back. Nothing prevents them from running for re-election.
No, but I wonder if they were elected. How we'd feel if we elected, if our representative from our part here in the state were expelled.
I wouldn't like it either. I wouldn't like it, but if that representative did something this goofy.
Well, if we're going to expel them for doing something goofy, we wouldn't have any of it there or in Washington.
That's
I don't think.
That's true, too.
But, Representative Justin Jones, a Democrat from Nashville, Representative Justin Pearson, a Democrat from Memphis, both expelled after votes from Republican supermajority House in a move that put the nation's eyes on Tennessee. Now, we're on a roll. We made 3 appearances on Saturday Night Live over the last month or so. And so in its politics, Representative Gloria Johnson, a Democrat from Knoxville, was also on the proverbial chopping block, but the House failed by 1 vote to achieve the 2/3 majority needed to kick Johnson out of the chamber. So 2 of the 3 gone. Johnson survives. And so what next here in the state of Tennessee? And why are Tennessee Democrats being expelled? This is how the Tennessean Jones, Pearson, and Johnson dubbed the Tennessee 3. I know that the late, great Johnny Cash, he probably wouldn't. Remember that, Larry, the Tennessee 2, Johnny Cash? Never mind.
Yeah, I remember.
Dubbed the Tennessee 3, faced expulsion for protesting over gun reform after 3 students and 3 staff members of the Covenant School killed in the shooting late last month. Now, a week ago, Johnson, Jones, and Pearson approached the House podium between bills during the session without being recognized. So, a breach of chamber rules. They led protesters into galleries and several chants for gun reform. Okay, so in the galleries, leading protesters That's not a wise thing to do. And what's happening here today is a farce of democracy. Close quote. That's Jones. Went on to say that what is happening here today is a situation in which the jury has already publicly announced the verdict. What we see today is a spectacle. What we see today is a lynch mob assembled not to lynch me, but our democratic process. Close quote. Now, Jones, it was a rented mule, 75 to 25. He's gone. In Pearson, it was a rented mule, 69 to 26. Decision there. So the expulsions for the two were effective immediately. So you get your stuff, guys, and get out, essentially. So they're gone. And that's one of the big stories leading into Easter weekend here. So there's not a very good way to spin it. What else, Doc, is on your radar today?
Well, that's the main thing. Of course, as we mentioned a minute ago, Kamala Harris is going to make a trip to see them and console them, presumably. But that's the main thing it appears to be going on this weekend. Here's some good news we need to talk about. The city of Jackson puts on the Month of Miracles this month. It's a service event. Residents in the community can come together and do a volunteer activity to help make Jackson a better place. You can Google Month of Miracles and figure out how to participate. And people ought to do that. We ought to help our neighbors and help understand each other and try to make the world a little bit better place rather than yelling and screaming.
It will definitely be a good thing, Doc, especially on Easter weekend. Yes.
Absolutely.
That sounds like a plan. Larry, you in?
I'm in.
All right. I'll go by and pick up a keg, and we'll start tailgating early. It is 3:20 as we broadcast from the Gene Langley Ford Studio in Jackson. It stretches across 15 counties here in West Tennessee. Gene Langley Ford at 3500 Easton Drive at Humboldt, now offering concierge service. When you have a vehicle serviced at Gene Langley Ford within a 15-mile radius, they will come and get your vehicle, take it in, service it, and deliver it right back to you, whether it be at home or at your office. Gene Langley Ford. GeneLangleyFord.com.
The Memphis Grizzlies play here. 96.5 FM, News Talk, West Tennessee. NewsTalkWTN.com.
And number 45 steps on the plate. So far, he's batting 1,000. The pitcher delivers. But wait, that's not the ball. It's the taxes. 45 Automart takes a swing, and they're gone.
At 45 Automart, we're making your taxes go dark with Grand Slam savings out of the park. That's right. For a short time, we're going to whack your tax up to $1,500 on anything you choose, so there's no way to lose at 45 Automart. Go to 45automart.com. Check out our bullpen that's stacked with more clean Carfax Southern rides than you can shake a bat at. Mustangs, Silverados, Wranglers, Altimas, F-150s, Camrys, Tacomas, Rogues, 4Runners, Avalanches, Cadillacs, Equinoxes, Cobalts, Caravans, Grand Cherokees, Lexus, Mercedes, Fiat, Ferrari. You get the picture. We're ready to whack the tax on all of them. Why strike out with Mr. Mega Dealer's base cash stealing stunts when dealing at 45 Automart is as easy as a lob, pitch, bunt? Check us out at 45automart.com today, where you're knocking the taxes over the fence with deals that save dollars and make tons of sense. Dealer!
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Pick up Bud Light at your local convenience store today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Central Distributors, Jackson.
Hi, my name's Dawn. I have been taking BioT at Advanced Medical. My moods are better. I sleep well. My husband has complimented me on the mood swings that are no longer affecting our marriage.
Are these problems affecting your work, your relationships, and your quality of life? You'll be happy to know there's an exciting, natural solution available called BioT. BioT uses a natural way for men and women to correct these problems by safely and accurately balancing hormone levels without the use of synthetic injections or cream.
I got blood work done, and they identified what hormones were out of balance. They gave me the bioidentical hormone pellets through BioT, and now I have more energy, no more brain fog, I'm sleeping better, and I feel like my old self again. I would recommend Advanced Rehab and Medical and their BioT program to anyone suffering with symptoms like mine. It's been life-changing.
To book your appointment, call 731-462-8580. That's 731-462-8580.
Looking to add a little spice to your love life?
Nothing adds spice like gunpowder.
Jackson's only indoor shooting range. Date night at the range. Here's what you lovebirds get: a shooting lane for two targets, 100 rounds of ammo, eye and ear protection, and a $30 gift certificate to Texas Roadhouse. All for just $99.99.
Now that's firepower.
Perfect for a gift card from the range. The Range, 2310 North Highland Avenue in Jackson.
Go to therange.com.
Take us with you wherever you go. Download our free apps for Apple and Android. Visit newstalkwtn.com. Then click to download.
Opinions are like smartphones. Everybody has one. Text your opinion to us on the News Talk West Tennessee text line. Text 731-800-TEXT. That's 731-800-8398. The News Talk West Tennessee text line, presented by Advanced Rehab and Medical. Dr. Shannon Bone is ranked in the top 10 of the world's best chiropractors. Visit advancedrehabjackson.com and say goodbye to neck and back pain. Text 731-800-TEXT. That's 731-800-8398. Don't text and drive.
When the bullet hits the bone,
325, and we've hit 61 degrees now in downtown, or make that midtown to J-Town. Dan Reeves, Dr. Mike Fowler, and Larry Newman with you on this Friday. It's April the 7th, 2023, 61 degrees. We expect to bottom out tonight around 49 degrees. You can text the program. We've got several texts already. We're going to read those right over the air for you. You can text us at 731-800-TEXT, 731-800-8398, 731-800-8398. The text line presented by Advanced Rehab and Medical. Is your chronic pain, and so many people have that these days, but inflammation. See Dr. Shannon Bone now for your free consultation. Call him at 731-664-6998. AdvancedRehabJackson.com. And he'll explain to you your options to get you back to a quality of life so you can enjoy life. That's the text line. You text us here at 731-800. Text 731-800-8398. And a phone line, you can call us at 731-265-6496, 731-265-6496. Brought to you by CWA Development. They specialize in commercial and residential maintenance, restoration, and renovation, fire and water damage restoration, plumbing, gutter, roof, window cleaning, wood repairs like privacy fences, deck repairs. Call them at 731-503-9598. Open Monday through Saturday from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. And on Sundays, that same number for emergencies. CWA Development, and our phone number is 731-265-6496 to join us here on the program.
This is interesting to me from a historical perspective. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the son of the late Senator Robert F. Kennedy, has put his name up for and indicated he will be seeking the Democratic nomination for president. The last Kennedy who ran for president in the Democratic primary was Ted Kennedy in 1980, who was defeated by Jimmy Carter. But then, of course, Jimmy Carter went on to lose the general election to Ronald Reagan. Robert F. Kennedy's a charismatic guy. He's active in environmental advocacy. He's a trial lawyer. He is a vaccine opponent, which is going to cause him some trouble, I think, in the election. He was
here in town back last summer, maybe summer
Was he?
before last.
Yeah.
He was a trial. He was representing someone here. I think it was vaccine related, not COVID. I think it was from a while back. Yeah, but he was in town for several days.
I want to say this on his behalf. He has a process called spastic dysphonia, and he has this funny sounding voice. He almost sounds like he's sick. He's not. It's just there's nothing else to this spastic dysphonia, but it makes his voice sound real gravelly and hard to understand. You might think he was sick, but he's a Kennedy and he's a nice guy, and I'm sure he means well. So it'll be interesting to watch what happens with him. He joins Marianne Williamson, a self-help guru, as two other people who have put, as another person who's put their hat in the ring. So, interesting developments in terms of the presidential race next year.
What do you expect to be the Democratic nominee? If you had to right now, if you had to answer that right now, who would it be? What do you think?
Who will be the Democratic nominee?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. It's way too early to tell.
Oh, I know, yes.
You have a lot of people saying that they don't want Joe Biden to run. And a lot of those are Democrats. 32% is the nation overall. So it's hard to say. Joe Biden ought to have the momentum, ought to have the best shot. However, remember back in 1968, Lyndon Johnson got out, interestingly, 2 weeks after Robert Kennedy got in. Yeah. And in that election, the first one in sort of broke the ice. I can't for the life of me think of his name right now. He didn't go anywhere, but he broke the ice, and then Kennedy got in after him in 68. Who was that?
It broke the ice?
Yeah.
I do not recall.
Adlai Stevenson?
No, it wasn't Adlai Stevenson. It was somebody else. He went nowhere. But he was brave enough to get in opposition to Johnson. This is what happens when you pass your 65th birthday. You can't remember anything. But when he got in, and then 2 weeks after Kennedy got in, Johnson said, "I will not seek nor will I accept the Democratic nomination for president," claiming he was too busy running the war. So that could happen that could happen. And so it'll be interesting to see, but I couldn't lay my nickel on the table right now.
They say some of the names of the top 10 list, they get Bernie Sanders at number 8. This Washington Post top 10 candidates to be the Democratic nominee for president in 2024. Bernie Sanders, he's 81 years old. So it's the job, pardon me, of course, he's a senator from Vermont. He's kept his options open, despite at one point indicating the 2020 campaign was likely his last. But now he's got a chairmanship, and he's on the Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee. Now, that job would give Sanders some influence over issues that he cares about, with health and labor, similar to they seem to be on his radar. So we'll see. But Amy Klobuchar is another that's a potential nominee. She ranked number 7. Number 6 is Gretchen Whitmer. You know her?
Yeah.
She's and then Gavin Newsom is number 5, the governor of California. He's not so Newsom. He's is this his first term in California? But he comes from a political family. I know that. Jared Polis, the Colorado governor. I'm not familiar with him. Are you?
No.
Kamala Harris is number 3.
Really?
The vice president, yeah. According to the Washington Post, the top 10 in order, we had the number 1, Kamala Harris, the vice president, number 3. Says, here's the write-up, says, generally not a good sign when the chatter turns from your own presidential prospects to whether the president will even keep you on the ticket, because there's talk of that as well.
Yeah, there's a dilemma.
Yeah, now Harris has repeatedly been asked about that particular line of business, but thanks in part to a few tough recent profiles and perhaps an awkward answer on the subject from Senator Elizabeth Warren, it's difficult to see how Biden would ever change his running mate. So this really feels like Harris she's just dismissing this as chatter. Now, number 2 is Pete Buttigieg, the transportation secretary. Now, his day job has turned into a slog thanks to a series of crises. The most recent among those crises, that train derailment in East Palestine. And number 1 is President Joe Biden to be the Democratic nominee for president in 2024. Now, how old would he be? It doesn't have his age on here, so I'm thinking he's what,
82? 82 in 24. I think that's right.
82 and 24.
He'll be 86 when he's all done. Eugene McCarthy. It was Eugene McCarthy in 1968, and when Eugene McCarthy elected to run against Lyndon Johnson, that took the wind out of Lyndon Johnson's sails, and then Bobby Kennedy got in, and that was it for Johnson. So, but of the ones you just mentioned, Gavin Newsom, I think, would have the best chance of gaining the liberal wing of the Democratic Party, which is where Joe Biden sort of lives these days.
Oh, get real.
Yeah.
Biden, a liberal?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, now, Doc.
He called me and told me to talk to you about that.
I'm sure he did.
So Newsom has not announced. If he were to announce, that might take the wind out of Joe Biden's sails. Kamala Harris is not going to buck the system. She's stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Well, she's just been exposed.
Yeah. And she didn't get anywhere. Even in California, she got less than 2% when she dropped out. She dropped out before the first vote for a Democratic nominee was cast. So I don't see hers having momentum. Bernie Sanders, Joe was recruited to get in to keep Bernie Sanders from winning. So he may or may not get back into it. I don't know.
Well, here's the top 10 for Republican candidates for president. Top 10 candidates, according to the Washington Post, to take the Republican nomination for president. In order from 10 down to 1, we'll start with number 10 here is, now how do you pronounce this guy's name? You know who this is?
Vivek Ramaswamy.
Who is that?
He is a tech guy. I think he's from California. He is very much anti-wokeism.
What is wokeism?
Wokeism is this whole, we used to call it politically correct mentality. Now it's wokeism. It's pro-transgender, pro-defund the police, pro-decarcerate.
Well, now, let me stop you a moment. You do know that defund the police was something that was mentioned in Portland, was never a movement. It was just, if you think about it, I've never heard it mentioned by anyone other than
London Breed,
the GOP, other than when it happened out in Portland.
Yeah, London Breed was all over that. She's the mayor of San Francisco. She wanted to divert $120 million from the police department to social workers. So there was one. There was another one.
But there was not a defund the police movement, though, like I was saying.
Yeah.
You can give maybe two examples.
Or more. Yeah.
So we know that's garbage. Now, in the Republicans who have supported police all these years, the National Party, now apparently don't like them that much if they were in D.C. So it's weird. It's really weird.
Yeah.
So it's, okay, this guy you were talking about is a tech guy, biotech entrepreneur, one of 3, they say, reasonably well-known.
Yeah.
Declared candidates. Also has demonstrated a knack for gaining right-wing media attention in his campaign against, you're right, Doc, wokeism. So don't be surprised if you see him one day on a debate stage. The challenge from there is making enough people think he's viable. What do you think he's viable?
No, not with a name like, not with a name like Vivek Ramaswamy.
Is that his real name?
Yes, that's his real name.
What's your real name?
I'm sure he's a nice guy. If I heard more about him.
Kristi Noem is number 9 after the South Dakota governor told CBS News, quote, "I'm not convinced that I need to run for president," close quotes. That's almost guaranteed that she's running for president.
Right.
But last month, she was more coy when asked a similar question. Also worth noting, Axios recently listed Nome and 3 other women as being among those from whom former President Trump is considering picking as a running mate.
That's interesting.
Kristi Noem.
She has, if she were a man, I would describe her differently, but she's got gravitas.
She's attractive.
She's solid, yeah.
Yes,
she
is. If she's a sexy woman. Now, that's not a
sexist.
Misogynistic at all.
No.
What do you think, Larry? Kristi Noem.
For vice president or president?
President, man. This is the top 10 presidential candidates. No?
Well,
that's too far down the list.
Larry just shot her out of the saddle, out of the saddle.
Have you seen her?
What does that matter?
Well,
Can she do the job?
Probably.
Geez, it matters a lot.
She's the governor of South Dakota, and she's done a good job.
Have you seen her, Larry?
No, I hadn't seen her.
That's the problem. He sees her, he'll say, she ought to be number 1.
She's pro-gun, very conservative.
What's a pro-gun?
She's for guns. She's for the Second Amendment.
Well, who? Okay. It's weird. Hey, vote for me. I'm pro-gun.
As opposed to taking your guns away, which is what Biden wants to do.
That's what people would. No, he doesn't, because he's the. I heard that 8 years about Obama, they never put forth any effort to take him away. That's what part of our problem. It's black or white, and the only people I know that look at it like that in real life are people with personality disorders. That's what continues to concern me, because you're either with me 110%. I'm not talking about you in general. Right. Or you're my enemy. Now, that's not the way a society is able to continue to maintain.
No,
it's really not.
Okay, yeah, we ought to meet in the middle somewhere.
Yeah. So Kristi Noem, then Chris Sununu, to the extent the GOP primary contains a formidable candidate arguing for a significant break with Trumpism, the New Hampshire governor appears the most likely possibility. Others have bowed out. Ex-Maryland Governor Larry Hogan. Particularly interesting about Sununu, though, is that he's also arguing for a different course from the one that's offered by the frontrunner, and it's Ron DeSantis.
Right.
What do you know about Sununu? What do you think of him?
Not enough. His father was John Sununu, former governor of New Hampshire, I believe, and also a cabinet member for Ronald Reagan several years ago.
Yeah, and he may be too traditional Republican, I think, is what they're saying is a knock against him. Not right-wing enough, essentially.
Not right, yeah. Well, okay, there's that concern.
Mike Pompeo, the former Secretary of State, comes in at number 7. He came out relatively strongly against Trump this month. Did you hear that? And did that surprise you? Because Pompeo if Trump stopped quickly in the hallway, he'd run right up his butt there for 8 years nearly.
Yeah, he's putting some light between he and Trump.
What do you think of him, Larry? Mike Pompeo.
Not a fan.
Okay. So Pompeo not getting any love in here. Yeah, I'm with you too on that. He's out.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
Okay, number 6 on this list is Glenn Youngkin, the Virginia governor. What do you make of him, fellas?
Yeah, I like Glenn Youngkin. He may be a little bit young, maybe a little bit inexperienced, but he came on really strong and turned around that wokeism in the Virginia school system. What was it, Loudoun County? That was causing such a stink, and he came in and put an end to that. So he's got a lot of promise. He might come from behind.
Nikki Haley is in at number 5, and the good news for the former South Carolina governor and U.S. ambassador to the United Nations is that she's competing with Mike Pence in the polls for the top non-Trump and non-DeSantis spot. And the bad news, that means she's still around 5%. Haley has carved out early ground as perhaps the most hawkish potential 2024 candidate on Russia's invasion with Ukraine. And many Republicans still think that helping Ukraine is important, but unless that becomes a much more prominent issue in the primary, and to the extent that DeSantis kind of moves toward the middle, it's not clear that it will much matter. What do you think of Nikki Haley?
I like Nikki Haley. She got foreign policy credentials. She was governor of North Carolina. Intelligent, smart, quick on her feet. She has a lot of potential. She hides
those three things well. Yeah. I've never noticed them.
But she could come from behind and do well too. Mike Pence, I think, he's too much in the shadow of Trump.
Mike Pence is number 4 on this list.
Yeah.
And you think that's just too much to shake off?
I think he suffers from the Hubert Humphrey problem. Humphrey was too closely allied with Johnson, and even when he got in the race in 68, he didn't go anywhere. He was ultimately the nominee in 68. But I think Pence, who's a decent person, he really is, I think Pence is going to suffer from his proximity to Trump.
Does that mean that, what exactly does it mean that people don't have confidence in Trump and he's too close to him? Or is that what you mean?
I think it's going to boil down to Trump and DeSantis. Those two are going to go head to head, and the others are going to fall by the way. Haley may be jockeying for a cabinet position. Pence may be jockeying for a cabinet position, but as I said, I think he's got the Hubert Humphrey problem.
I tell you, I don't understand. Pence came out and really laid into Trump, but now that he's apparently not finished with politics, he's flip-flopped on it. Several of them have, really. I think Trump flexed his political muscles, and they all got right back in line. Do you notice that?
Well, I don't know. Pence is putting a little distance between himself and Trump, particularly with respect to the events of
I didn't say
that.
But he's changed Pence has changed his. I mean, he came after him pretty strong. Pence came after Trump pretty strong.
Yeah, he did.
Tim Scott is number 3, the senator from South Carolina. He's not polling like the top alternative, I should say, to Trump and DeSantis. He's usually stuck with with the others around 1%. What do you know about Tim Scott?
Great guy. Classic American story, raised by a single mother who was not well educated, has done well for himself. Solid guy, sharp, intelligent, presentable. He has potential.
Number 2, Ron DeSantis. He was previously ranked number 1. Number 1 is Donald J. Trump.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Those who are going to be, any way they could combine it on that ticket, do you think?
Well, combined on the ticket, maybe. But the question is going to be, can Trump recruit the independent, single women, college education women who voted against him for Biden? And/or can DeSantis pull away sufficient numbers of Trump supporters to get going and get momentum and take the lead? And all of this is complicated by Trump's extensive record. It's complicated by the arraignment in New York. It's complicated by the fact that DeSantis is stuck. If DeSantis announces he has to give up his job in Florida, and if I had my druthers, I would rather him keep his job in Florida, finish out his term, and run the next time, assuming for the sake of argument that a Democrat wins, which is not beyond the realm of possibility. DeSantis is young. He could run this time in 4 years or in 8 years. He's the potential. I'm surprised, Dan, that Hillary Clinton was not mentioned in one of the top 10 Democratic, because I know she's itching to do it.
Well, apparently not. Yes, you think she'd been able to crack that top 10 if she would have if she was showing any interest at all.
Right.
From the text line, Advanced Rehab and Medical text line, advancedrehabjackson.com. Robert Kennedy Jr. is a nut. IMO. I don't know what that means. Do you know what that means? IMO?
In my humble opinion.
Okay. That's okay. I got it. Okay. What if the kids are saying this, or this is just middle-aged white men that have gone with IMO? I've never seen an IMO before. I like that.
Yeah, I think that's.
I don't use that unless you've got it copyrighted.
No, I don't.
This text goes on to say that I think Jon Stewart and Al Franken, or Gretchen Whitmer, Gavin Newsom for the Democrats, Gretchen Whitmer. That's where the text ends.
Gretchen Whitmer. It's too controversial, too liberal for me. And that may not make any difference to the Democrats, but she's kind of out there.
From the Advanced Rehab and Medical text line, you can text the program at 731-800-8398. Yeah, this text comes in, says mental illness and mass shootings. What if I told you that mental illness is not the problem that most people say it is? This is used to distract the uninformed from the real problem, which is gun availability and our dumb Second Amendment, the only advanced nation that has the Second Amendment. Psychiatry explains this. You interested? ? There is always 1,000 chopping, there's always 1,000 chomping at the branches of evil, social ills, and only one. No, this is chopping. And I have my glasses on. There is always 1,000 chopping at the branches of evil, social ills, and only one chopping at the roots. That came in on the text line. What do you say to that?
Not sure what that's about.
Somebody's chopping something.
Always, I think you said it's an old saying. Always chopping at the branches to try to kill the tree, and only one person chopping at the roots. I reckon 3 Texas women are sued for wrongful death after assisting with abortion. I don't know if you've seen that or not.
No.
This was sent in on the text line as well. They have a similar law as Tennessee when it comes to abortion. 3 Texas women are sued for wrongful death after allegedly helping a friend obtain abortion medication. In the first lawsuit of its kind, Roe v. Wade was overturned. A husband seeking damages from women who allegedly helped his ex-wife obtain medications to terminate her pregnancy. A Texas man is suing 3 women under the wrongful death statute, alleging that they assisted his ex-wife in terminating her pregnancy. Now, the first such case brought since the state's near-total ban on abortion last summer. Marcus Silva is represented by Jonathan Mitchell, the former Texas Solicitor General and the architect of the state's prohibition on abortions after about 6 weeks of pregnancy, and a state representative, Briscoe Kane, a Republican from Deer Park. The lawsuit filed in state court in Galveston County, where Silva lives, alleges that his now ex-wife learned she was pregnant in July of 2022, the month after the overturn of Roe v. Wade, and conspired with 2 friends to illegally obtain abortion-inducing medication and terminate the pregnancy. That came in on the text line. I'm not familiar with that case. Are you, Doc?
No. Yeah, it's
She's
not
seeking
clear
$1 million
what
in damages.
Well, I think the woman is still alive, but it's not clear from the story.
Oh, she's alive. She took like the morning after pill and to terminate the pregnancy. 2 of her friends helped her get the medication, the lawsuit says.
Now ex-wife obtained medication for an abortion.
Yes. Yep.
I guess he's claiming the wrongful death of the fetus then.
Yes. Yeah.
I always thought, even though from a constitutional standpoint, Roe versus Wade was bad law because it created a right where no right could be found, from a practical standpoint, it was not a bad solution. Dividing the pregnancy into the trimesters, and the first trimester, the woman had almost an unlimited right. The second trimester, the state could express some interest. In the third trimester, the state could prevent it altogether. That's not a bad compromise. We live in a fallen world. We live in a world where people get themselves caught and for any number of reasons want or need an abortion. That's between them and the doctor and God, I guess.
That's a very conservative way of looking at it.
I'm with you. Let people do their thing. Now, what's happened is it's become a mechanism for birth control, and I'm not too happy about that. It's become a mechanism for selecting against Down's children, and I'm definitely opposed to that. And the Democrats want to extend it until minutes before live birth, and that's too late.
Well, now, that's not true. I've looked that up. I can't find anything that says that's true. Minutes before birth?
Well, up until the time of birth. Well, the governor of, the governor of Virginia, Ralph Northam,
That just sounds silly to say, because you may as well say the Democrats want to kill babies.
Well, I think there's. I think you can say that. That's rhetoric, but Governor Northam said, okay, if a baby's born and the mother doesn't want it, the baby's set aside. The doctors will talk. The parents will talk. And then they need not resuscitate the baby, which is one of the reasons he's not governor of Virginia anymore. Yeah. Governor Ralph Northam took that position. Northam.
Okay, wait a minute. If the baby... Explain that again. If
baby's born.
Yes.
Mother doesn't want it.
She tells him after the baby's born.
And
changed my mind.
She takes the position, I don't want this baby. Do not resuscitate the baby. You do not do anything for the baby.
Because, meaning resuscitate...
Well, when
comes out of the womb, slap him on the butt.
Right. When babies are born, they have to be stimulated many times in order to cry. And sometimes medical assistance is needed to suck the mucus and debris out of their mouth and get them going. And they will die otherwise unless you keep them warm and get them dry pretty quickly. So, but Northam was proposing that you just set them aside and see what happens. And he got
the governor said that. In Virginia.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to fact check that one. I just can't see it. I mean, man, that's murder.
Yes, it is.
Advocating for murder. Yeah, but I'm sorry. I hear crazy things like that, but I just got to check that one out. I hadn't heard that one before. Because the one yesterday was either that was started on that B called it about was it was proven inaccurate like 5-6 years ago.
Well, I'll look it up while we're chatting.
Yeah, but I'm not saying it's not true. That would explain why he's not governor any longer.
Oh yeah,
I would say that. Jeez, now that's extreme. I can't imagine anything worse. Also, the Easter services tomorrow. That if you've got a Easter service, if they got several different Easter services tomorrow, it's Love and Truth Church. I'm going to be out there
tomorrow or Sunday.
Pardon me, Sunday. It feels like Saturday.
It does,
because I'm looking out here, Doc, and 40,000 to 50,000 cars per day pass by, and it's just a trickle of traffic out there. And it's Good Friday, for crying out loud. That must be what it is, Larry.
All right,
is that what it is? It's Good Friday.
Here's a reputable source on Governor Northam. And it says, speaking on WTOP's Ask the Governor Wednesday, Northam defended his position supporting abortion, supporting a bill proposed in the Virginia Assembly that would legalize elective abortions on demand through the 9th month of pregnancy all the way up until the moment of birth. When asked to respond to outrage over the proposal, Northam seemed to suggest that not only can babies be terminated up until the moment they're born, but that full-term born-alive infants can be left to die without medical care if the mother wishes. And this guy's a pediatrician. He's a pediatric neurologist, by the way. Yeah. Here's what he said. Here's what he said. If a mother's in labor, the infant would be delivered. Northam began, speaking of babies born with anomalies that, according to liberals, would have warranted abortion. That infant would be kept comfortable. The infant would be resuscitated if that's what the mother and family desired. And then the discussion would ensue between the physicians and the mother. Northam did not bother to clarify what a discussion would involve or what anomalies justify infanticide. That's too far.
Well, okay, see, now this is a fact check from Reuters here. And you say that's off of a TV station?
Yeah, MRC TV.
MRC TV. I assume in Virginia. That's the entire story, or were they covering?
Yeah, because this says the bulk of it.
It started from a meme shared by over 70,000 on Facebook back in this 2019. When he was asked about a bill that, among other things, aimed to ease restrictions for third trimester abortions in the state. So this is the story. The meme falsely suggested Northam is in favor of legalizing infanticide? How do you pronounce that?
Infanticide.
Is that a new?
Yeah.
The legalized infanticide.
The nuance between what you're looking at and what's on MRCT is that Northam qualified what he said about born-alive babies if they had, quote, some anomaly that would have warranted abortion.
Yes, it says here that by leaving out key contextual references in his remarks is what set fire to this. It features the photograph of a newborn child that reads, And when it's born, we will make the baby comfortable until the mother decides if she wants it to live or die. So that's what you said. And then it said, DIMS are for full-term abortions. God have mercy on their souls when women are legally allowed to kill a child. And the meme appears to inaccurately quote the remarks made by Ralph Northam during an interview with local radio station. What did you say? W6
WTOP.
E6WD. Okay. So
now there it is. There's his quote right there. Northam was referring to third trimester abortions that are done in cases where there may be severe deformities.
Okay, see, that's a big, big omission right there. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's what I figured. If you think about these things, I mean, who would say that? Who would be in favor of that?
Well,
but it catches fire like that.
There's shades of these things. There's all kinds of deformities that can be fixed.
No. Let's stick with, because that further muddies the water. If you stay specifically with what he's saying, I mean, I'm not a fan of either party. Well, so I can watch these two kids fighting. They just look silly.
Yeah.
Here's the news. We'll be right back. It is 4 o'clock. Stay right there.
This is WBFG 96.5 FM. Parker's Crossroads, Jackson.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. America's employers adding 236,000 jobs in March, suggesting the economy remains on solid footing. That's despite the 9 interest rate hikes the Federal Reserve has imposed over the past year in its drive to tame inflation. And the unemployment rate fell to 3.5%. That's just above the 53-year low of 3.4% set in January. House Republicans are pushing the Biden administration for answers on the ongoing U.S.-Mexico border crisis.
Nearly 24 Republicans sent a letter to Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas this week demanding answers on policies related to the ongoing crisis at the U.S.-Mexico border. Led by Congressman Josh Brecheen from Oklahoma, the 22 Republicans accused the Department of Homeland Security of incentivizing historic levels of illegal migration by abusing the use of a policy that allows for the release of migrants into the U.S. via humanitarian parole. The lawmakers pointed to a decision by a Florida judge to block that policy. In a statement announcing the letter to Mayorkas, Congressman Brecheen declared that under President Biden, quote, illegal immigration has become normalized and even institutionalized. Edwin Mora, Washington.
Also at townhall.com, do you want to buy a Tesla? Well, it's cutting prices again.
Tesla is cutting prices on its entire electric vehicle model lineup for the 3rd time this year. The biggest markdown, $5,000 per vehicle for Tesla's slower-selling, more expensive models, the Model S sedan and the big SUV, the Model X. It's apparently an effort to lure more buyers as interest rates creep up. And it comes as Tesla's first quarter sales grew 36%, but fell short of analysts' expectations. I'm Rita Foley.
And on Wall Street, there was no trading today in observance of Good Friday. Wall Street reopens on Monday. More at townhall.com.
Relief Factor, pain relief that's natural, pain relief that works, and pain relief that attacks the source of the pain. That's the experience of tens of thousands of Americans who are taking Relief Factor right now. See their incredible video endorsements at relieffactor.com and then order your 3-week quick starter pack for just $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Find out if it can work for you like it works for me by ordering your 3-week quick starter pack today. relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com. Be the next success story.
Oh, I cracked the hull of my new ski boat today.
Oh my gosh, why'd you do that?
It's not like I was trying to do it, you know.
Sorry, that's rough, my bad, bro. Did anyone witness this epic fail?
Yes, there's videos galore, and now I'm a meme.
Accidents don't just happen in sea shanties, so Progressive Boat Insurance has you covered. Take as little as 4 minutes to see what you can save at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Covered subject to policy terms and not available for all boats or in all situations.
An Afghan radio station run by women has resumed its broadcast. That's after officials shut it down for a week for playing music during the month of Ramadan. Correspondent Charles De Ledesma with the report.
The Director for Information and Culture in Badakhshan says the station is now allowed to resume activities after it had obeyed the laws and regulations of the Islamic Emirate and agreed to stop broadcasting any kind of music. Sadeh Banawan, which means women's voice in Dari, was launched 10 years ago in the province and is Afghanistan's only women-run radio station. The Afghan Journalist Safety Committee, a watchdog organisation that promotes the safety of journalists and press freedom, and which was involved in mediation for the station's reopening, has welcomed the resumption of broadcasts. I'm Charles De Ledesma.
Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. A long-distance rescue is all in a day's work.
The Alaska Air National Guard this week traveled nearly 660 miles to rescue a pregnant woman on a small island 2 miles from Russia. The trip reflects the challenges patients face in the nation's largest state, where there may be no roads and hospitals can be hundreds of miles away. A search and rescue helicopter from near Anchorage flew 5 hours to the tiny Bering Strait island. A cargo plane guided the helicopter through mountain passes and refueled it in the air several times. These types of extreme rescues by both the Guard and other agencies are common in Alaska. Keith Peters reporting.
And in Anchorage, a young moose trudging through the snow looking for a meal spotted some green plants in the lobby of a medical building and decided to drop in for a dose of greenery. Security was able to coax the moose out of the building. More on these stories at townhall.com. I'm John Scott.
CWA Development is a reliable and experienced company that provides a wide range of maintenance, restoration, and renovation services for both commercial and residential customers. Fire and water damage restoration, plumbing, drywall insulation and repair, gutter and roof cleaning, power washing, fence and deck repairs, and a whole lot more. CWA Development. They emphasize their commitment to customer satisfaction through integrity and excellence. Licensed and insured for their work. CWA Development are available for calls Monday through Saturday from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. and on Sundays for emergencies. CWA has a combined experience of over 80 years, commercial and residential maintenance, as well as restoration and renovation. CWA strives for your satisfaction with service focused on integrity and excellence. Call CWA today at 731-503-9598. Call CWA today, 731-503-9598. CWA Development.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Central Distributors, Jackson.
Hey, y'all, this is Mary at Mulligan's. Come see us soon before the new wears off. Hard to believe, but we're coming upon an anniversary in our locally family-owned business at Union University Drive. We still have our daily lunch specials, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., which will remind you of Grandma's cooking. Or try our Irish dishes, fish and chips, Reuben's and shepherd's pie, or everyone's favorite, the Mully Burger. And how about brunch on Saturdays and Sundays? Yep, every weekend, serving Jackson for over 25 years. See you soon at Mulligan's.
Award-winning Watson's Cleaning Service specializes in commercial and residential cleaning. Watson's cleans huge commercial buildings, West Tennessee Agriculture and Education Center, the Federal Court Building in downtown Jackson. Watson's also specializes in residential cleaning services, stripping and waxing floors, buffing, pulling trash, sweeping and mopping, vacuuming, household cleaning, baseboards, walls, dishes, dusting and organizing. Call 731-293-3808. Family owned and operated Watson's Cleaning Services. 293-3808.
Take us with you wherever you go. Download our free apps for Apple and Android. Visit newstalkwtn.com. Then click to download.
Hey, Doctor, how you doing, Doctor? Doctor.
I'm great, Dan. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. It's always good to see you, Dr.
It's good
Fowler.
to be seen. Thank you, sir. It's good to see you. And our co-pilot, Larry, who's keeping us out of the ditch.
Larry Newman. Hello, Newman. Newman, I'm
Hey,
sorry
Doc,
about that.
how are you?
I'm great, Larry. How are you?
I detected the difference in delivery there, Larry. I don't know if you made it like that.
Get over it, Reeves.
I'm not taking it out of context. Well, Larry, let's take a trip down to the Masters. There was a chance this morning, they talked about it, that the Masters may have to spill over into Monday because of the weather. Larry, have you checked the weather down near Augusta?
Well, about 4:30, they stopped play. The winds were so strong it blew down 2 pine trees on the court.
Lordy.
So that's pretty strong.
It is strong.
Strong winds. Weather update presented by Dustin Ring. Dustin buys houses fast for cash. DustinBuys.com. Not only houses, but trailers and land and fast for cash. DustinBuys.com. Larry, what does it look like? Have you checked it out for this weekend?
Oh, it's going to be about like it is today. Let me pull it up real quick. Won't take but a second.
It's in a movie. It's been years ago. And it's so this weekend. And Doc, you told me you're going to do a lot of yard work this week. It's that time of year, ain't it?
Yep, it is.
It gets out of hand if you let it go.
It certainly does.
That's not like Larry's hair. It's got curl to it, so it gets out of hand if he lets it go.
That's right.
But if he keeps it...
And, of course, go to church on Easter Sunday. I guess that goes without saying.
Yeah, you going up Union City? You're
Union
going here.
City. Yeah, First Methodist in Union City.
First Baptist, Union City, Tennessee.
All right.
Okay. Gene Langley Ford Studio, that's where we are. We broadcast to the Gene Langley Ford Studio in Jackson, Tennessee. Gene Langley Ford, the dealership, is at 3500 Eastern Drive at Humboldts. And Ricky Jones and Rebecca Jones, along with Richard Langley, they came over just the other day to announce a brand new service. It's their new pickup and delivery service, a complimentary option that's offered to every service customer within a 15-mile radius of the dealership. Complimentary. That means
nice.
Free. And if it's free, I'll take 3. So when you need service, Gene Langley Ford, their staff will pick up and return your vehicle to your home, to your office, wherever it may be, Doc.
That is so handy because it's hard for people to get away from work and have that done. And that's a nice service. I hope they do very well with that.
Yeah, I hope so too, Doc. That's awesome, man. Larry, how's the weather look over there, big fella?
Yeah, tonight it's going to be 47, mostly cloudy. Saturday, 58, cloudy. The low Saturday night, 50 and cloudy. Sunday, 65, partly sunny. And Sunday night, 49 and partly cloudy. So we're going to stay kind of like it is today.
Right.
Yeah, but Sunday, what do you say, Larry? It's going to warm up to how much? Sunday?
65.
65, okay. Do you have a motorcycle, Doc?
No.
Larry, do you have a motorcycle?
No, sir.
Larry. I guess I ride around myself, but the...
Richard, the narrator barber.
He got married. Hadn't seen him since. And so he went... Doc, I think he's not showing up on radar.
Uh-oh.
The bad thing about that is neither is Megan, his wife. I miss her.
Careful.
It's attempted humor. Doc said attempt is the key word.
Easy now.
But so Larry, you remember Dr. Bradley Wright?
Yes, sir.
Did you ever know him, Dr. Bradley Wright? He was a partner at Sports Orthopedics and Spine.
No, never did.
And Larry, you knew him from around the station, I guess, right?
Right.
I was included in a group text. This is a sad story, folks. I know a lot of you know Dr. Wright. He come on with me several times during COVID, during the lockdown. He met a flight attendant. That's not the sad part. It's really a sad story, but and got married a few years ago, and they moved to her native West Virginia. Doc, one of his daughters, she's 32 years old, and her husband, they had an 11-year-old boy, and a week or two ago, they went out for a walk. They live out in California, and some moron was on dope, hopped the curb, and hit all 3 of them. And Holly's her name, Doc's daughter, and broke her pelvic, and husband severe concussion, but it killed their 11-month-old, and I think his birthday was, today. He'd been 1 year old.
Yeah.
I don't know how you ever get over that. And so many of you know Dr. Wright. Doc, he was, and Larry would tell you, one of the kindest people that you'd ever meet. And we were tight now. We hung out a lot. He was on the radio a lot with me.
Right.
He's originally from Washington State, from Seattle. And went to high school with Ann and Nancy Hart of the band
Hart, yeah.
And so they sang at his senior prom. And I accused him of bragging and confused him. But I just talked with him today because I was seeing Dr. Yakin was included in this mass text. And Dr. Yakin was also a partner at Sports Orthopedics and Spine. Now, Dr. Yakin is in Fayetteville, Arkansas. He's the team doctor for the Razorbacks.
Right.
And I said, that hit me so hard. I expected, because it didn't say in that group text exactly why. It was, Doc would hate to hear about your loss. I thought his mom died. And I did not expect him to tell me what he did, Dr. Fowler. I just did not. You know, life is precious, and it's fleeting.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I tell you, Larry, I'm sure that surprises you too, because you knew Dr. Wright. He's such a nice guy, isn't he, Larry?
He is.
Now, I want to get your opinion on something that's raging in the news. You're familiar with the fact that after the NCAA Women's Championship, which LSU won, that Jill Biden was enthused about this and invited both LSU, the winners, and Iowa, the losers, to the White House. Whereupon Angel Reeves said, well, basically, forget it, we're not coming. Now, she was a member of the LSU team.
Right.
And now this has bubbled over. People are calling Jill Biden's attempted hospitality as both sexist and racist. What say you, Dan? Don't let me put you on the spot.
Oh, no, Doc. I read about that this morning. And I don't want to influence, because Larry will normally, I think he's bucking the trend of, he normally would go along with me, but now I found no, Larry, I kid you, but what do you think of this, Larry?
I think when I first heard that she was going to invite both teams, that was the mistake.
Yeah,
the winner needed to go. It's always that way.
Right.
The loser stays home.
Right.
That's the way it is.
I think she was trying
she wanted to give
gracious.
everybody a medal.
Yeah, being hospitality and just extending hospitality, and it's just blown up on her. I'm not a big fan of either one of them.
Trophy generation, right?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of either one of them. But
either one of
them, Joe or Jill. But my goodness, she's being attacked for something that's really not all that offensive. It's certainly not sexist, and it's certainly not racist. And I don't think she had an ounce of evil in her heart when she said it. Now, it may not have been the wisest thing to say, but even then, it's a faux pas, and it's a minor faux pas compared to all the blistering attention she's getting.
Right.
I don't know how you put it any better than you did, Doc. Yeah, really bad idea by Joe Biden, but like you said, it's okay. What's the big deal here? We don't want to do this. I'm not in favor of breaking with tradition with the national champions or the Super Bowl winners going to the White House. Only them. That's not the losers. But it does kind of fit in with this trophy generation type mentality, doesn't it?
A little bit.
Maybe not. Maybe that's going too far by me.
Except that the Iowa didn't insist on it. And the people who are making the big stink about it is Angel Reeves.
Who didn't insist on it?
The Iowa didn't insist on it. The Iowa basketball team.
Okay, I got you. I forgot who they played Iowa. I didn't know they had women or basketball.
And Jill Biden is the host. She can have whoever she wants to have.
Right.
You know, she hadn't invited me, by the way.
Yeah, just same here, Doc. Angel Reese. She is going to the White House after all the LSU women's basketball star confirmed in an interview with ESPN today that she will join her teammates in their celebratory visit to Washington, D.C., despite quote, hurt, close quote. She's been hurt by First Lady Jill Biden's comments over the weekend.
He hurt my feelings.
Yeah, I get it. Angel, are you narcissistic often is the question. Reese went on to say, quote, I'm a team player, close quotes, but my feelings are hurt. I'm going to do what's best for the team, and I'm the captain. I know the team would love it, close quotes. When she's talking about I am a team player, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 times she mentioned I in a sentence and a half while explaining how she's a team player.
Yeah. Did somebody say there's no I in team?
Larry, you know what? Shaq told Kobe Bryant that. Shaq was telling a story about when Kobe was young. Said the veteran said, Shaq, you got to pull this kid to the side and talk to him. Shaq said, what do you mean? I said, he starts shooting from the parking lot, and he never stops. And so he said he pulled Kobe to the side and said, hey, young fella, there's no I in team. He said, no, but there's an M-E in that mother blanker. So he said, Kobe.
Oh, my goodness.
That was a shame, wasn't it? The death of Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
You see what kind of man he'd
really
become,
was.
I tell you. Yeah, Doc, again, there's nothing I can say, or Larry, or anyone else to say it better than you put it. But an LSU spokesperson confirmed yesterday the school would accept President Biden's invitation to celebrate their national championship at the White House as tradition, but it was unclear whether Reese planned to be among those in attendance but she went on to say that she was going to attend the White House.
About your week, it's a year's worth of accomplishment and attention, but on the heels of the You Can't See.
Well, we lost.
Then there's this idea from the White House where First Lady Dr. Jill Biden says, hey, let's invite the runners-up, the Iowa team, in the spirit of sportsmanship. I'm doing air quotes. I'm not even sure if you can see us, but what was the reaction in your locker room with your teammates to that?
Yeah, at the beginning we were hurt. Everything, it was emotional for us because we know how hard we worked all year for everything, and just being able to see that hurt us in the moment. But just going back on it, I mean, the team, you don't get that experience ever. So being able to go back, and I know my team probably wants to go for sure, and my coach is supportive of that. So I'm going to do what's best for the team, and if they would like to go and we decide on we're going to go, then we're going to go. But it was tough just seeing that in the beginning, but I think we'll all come together, and I think it'll be good.
Okay, so Angel Reese.
Thank God they're going to be able to get over this and get on with their lives.
Well, I hope so, but imagine how uncomfortable Jill Biden is going to feel about all of this. She was just trying to be nice.
If I was Jill, I think I'd say, look, Joe, I didn't realize this, but I've got a nail appointment.
I'd be somewhere else.
Geez, Doc, that just goes. That fits right into what you were saying. You know what I mean? It's that entitlement. How must Iowa feel to hear Reese said, if I was going to be there, I'm not going. It's political. It is. I think these kids are watching their parents, and
it's a distinct lack of class. It's a lack of class.
I tell you,
what it is.
I really enjoy.
Well,
I really enjoy hearing your takes on it, Doc. I do. Because Megan just texted me, wished me happy birthday. She must have heard me get on it. That's Rachel, the narrator Barber's lovely wife. Oh, I didn't say anything bad about her, did I?
No,
I
you
said
didn't.
I miss the narrator married Megan. I haven't seen him since, or her, and I miss her. What were you saying, Larry?
I said the backstory on that is Jill Biden had asked Joe, which team should I invite? And he wasn't halfway listening, and he said, invite both of them. That's how that started.
We'll get some ice cream.
He might have threw his shoe at her. Yeah. Who knows? I know it's Jill. Somebody pull Jill to the side. Larry, you can go ahead and knock that off if you feel like it. So I think there's two memos that should be fired out. The first one to Jill Biden, and all that she needs in the memo would be, huh? We're not going to change it. That's tradition. The other one goes to Angel Reese. Shut your mouth. It's It sounds silly, though, in a sentence and a half, though, Larry, that she's talking about how much of a team player she is, but she mentions I 4 times in a sentence and a half.
I said there's no I in team.
Yeah, I heard you. That's an old saying. Close quote, right? Yeah, is this a sign of the times? By the way, you've been a medical doctor. People like Barack Obama, people like Mike Ditka, this is a better example, say they would never let their son play football. Did you see the movie that Will Smith starred in to play the doctor up in Pittsburgh when it comes to CTE?
No.
It's the momentum. It maybe died down just a little bit since COVID, but the number of kids in America that are playing football is declining.
Well, that's bad in and of itself.
Greatest game ever.
80 years ago, maybe, I don't know, 75 years ago, my father played football. He wore a leather helmet with no face guard. Now, whatever else was going on, one thing that was not going on was you weren't using your head as a battering ram. So now they've amped up these football helmets, and people use their heads as a battering ram.
That's true. Yeah, lead with their head.
Yeah, and that's the big part of the problem. They're bigger, they're faster, they're heavier, and all that kinetic energy is much, much greater than it was.
It's like being in a car wreck sometimes, isn't it, Doc?
Yeah, it's like a car wreck between 2 dump trucks as opposed between 2 VW Beetles. So, as long as the kids are appropriately coached, football is probably not all that dangerous. But when they get into this using your head as a battering ram, it's too much, I think.
And I was surprised when I was doing research on this a couple of years ago that the majority of the long-term damage is done in practice in smaller collisions.
Right.
I didn't realize that would be the case, but have you read that as well?
Yeah, that's true, because they're low-velocity injuries and they keep repeating them.
Yeah.
And the brain needs a little bit of time to rest and recover between concussion-type injuries. So it's a difficult thing, and I hate to see young people miss out on sports, but I think we need to turn the corner on coaching so that people don't use their head like that.
Yeah, Doctor, by the way, the Grizzlies' first-round playoff tickets are on sale now. We've got the Memphis Grizzlies right here on News Talk 96.5 FM, the NBA playoffs. So you're a fan of the NBA playoffs, the Grizzlies?
No, never have been. Really.
Are you a basketball fan at all?
Not really.
Were you born and raised in Union City?
No, I was born in Kansas City, Missouri, and lived in Memphis for a while. And then most of my life from 1971 forward has been in and around Union City.
Okay. Do you feel like I'm interrogating you? No, so 1971, you moved to the Union City area.
Right. That was my father grew up.
Oh, he's originally from Union City. Okay.
Yeah.
I love that area.
That's a great place. It really
is. Did you become a lawyer first or a doctor, a medical doctor first?
It's an interesting story, and sometime I'll tell it, but the precise answer to the question is I was a lawyer first for 10 years and always had this itch, this desire, this calling to do something else, which was medicine. And I kept thinking to myself, I'm really not all that capable. I'm not that smart. I'm not that energetic. I can't stay up all night. And, of course, I was 15 years older than everybody else in the medical school class, and I did every one of those things.
Do you think that your thirst for knowledge or to learn started growing as you aged?
Yeah.
Same here.
Yeah. When I was, marginal in high school, but when I got to college and there were more interesting things to talk about, I took off. I have a couple of regrets, and I would say this to the parents of people who have teenagers: push your teenagers hard. Make them read Shakespeare. Make them read the Bible.
Yeah.
Make them read the traditional literature. Encourage them to play music, but don't let them sell themselves short, which is what I did. I said I can never pass organic chemistry or whatever, and I shouldn't have done that. I should have pushed on.
Were you telling yourself that when you were a kid or
when I was
young
a kid.
adult?
Yeah.
Kid.
For all my life, basically, I would have this question arise in my mind: you really ought to think about medical school. And I would think, I'm not that energetic. here I am.
Wait, that is a daunting task, though.
It is.
Because now, how many years did you spend in medical school?
Well, let's see. I had to go back for 2 years to get the science prerequisites. So that took 2 years. Medical school is 4 years, and residency is 3 years. So 9 altogether.
9. Okay, so that was another thing. Were you practicing law when you went to medical school?
No.
Did you? Now, you don't have to answer this if you don't want to.
All right.
But
you have the right to remain silent. Anything.
But not the ability.
Larry, you also have the right to remain silent, and advise you do it. Larry. Now, again, you don't have to answer this.
Sure.
Hit the tape record button, but Larry, so you're a practicing attorney,
right?
And did you decide to become a doctor? Was that an attempt to cash in on both sides?
No. And that's a funny thing because every attending physician thought that. They thought, you're going to be a malpractice lawyer. No, I just want to be a doctor.
So, Larry, I'll represent you in this fender bender, and I've got a doctor I want to recommend you to see. Larry'd say, who is it? Well, that's me as well. I'll see you in the next room.
Let me just change rooms and put on a white coat.
Of course, I kid you, Doc. But and do you miss practicing law?
No, I don't. And I'll tell you why. I had an epiphany. I was sitting in class, in a class in law school called Remedies. And remedies is a study of what the different things the court can do to give an injured party relief. And I had this terrible sinking feeling, and I thought to myself, all lawyers do is fuss about money. And I'm not sure I want to live like that. I'll never forget that day. And, of course, I went on to finish law school, and I was a public defender and took a lot of criminal defense cases, which was interesting. Didn't pay very well, but it was interesting, more interesting than who got to the stop sign first. And then after I stopped doing criminal defense work, I did divorces and I did other things, and I finally decided this is not for me. I got to do something.
Well, I tell you though, that's impressive.
Well,
so how old would you have been when you went back to school?
35. I was the second oldest guy in medical school. Everybody else was much, much younger, 22, 23, and I was at least 13 years older than most of them.
Well,
yeah,
that is because. You know, we're told, look, if you don't go to college right out of high school, chances are you'll never go. And that's true.
Right.
Because you may fall in love, have a kid or two, then you wouldn't have time to go to school, nor the money to go. So, but you were able to do it.
Yeah.
And that's awesome, Doc.
Well, thank you. It was an interesting journey, and it was something I just felt called to do, and it has all come together, and that started, let's see, in 1991, 30 some odd years ago. Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, 30 odd years ago.
Where did you go to medical school?
Memphis, UT College, Memphis.
They've got a really good respected medical school there, don't they?
They do.
The campus there, it's, I guess, were you at main campus, University of Memphis?
Mm-hmm.
That's lovely through the area.
Well, now, University of Memphis, that's a different system. This is UT.
Okay, all right. So wait a minute. I knew that, but I thought they were close by. So evidently they're not.
No.
Where's UT Medical School there?
It's between Madison and Union. It's about a mile from downtown.
Okay, I know what you're talking about. Yes, yeah.
Madison, Union, and Dunlap, and it's next to the park where Nathan Bedford Forest used to be.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. And you lived in Memphis how long?
We lived in Memphis about 5 years, and then we went back to Union City, and I took up a residency in Covington so my oldest daughter could start and finish high school in Union City.
Yeah. And I can understand that. I tell you, I still love Memphis. Downtown is. Do you go downtown?
Oh yeah.
It's. I love, of course, Beale Street, but I love, of course, the Orpheum. That is just gorgeous.
It is.
But then, there's several different choices of outside dining.
Right.
Right there where the trolley goes through. Just a couple of blocks from the Orpheum. You ever do that in Montcalm?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't
absolutely.
that fun?
It is. It really is.
Yes. You ever do that, Larry?
Oh, yeah.
It's, I saw a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, it's Emily bought us tickets to see this Italian opera. And I'm so excited about it. And she's going to see the Orpheum. Never seen it. we get there. It's cold, cold nights, and we're standing in line to get in with a tickets to Orpheum. And I look at the tickets. It says, I don't know why I had looked at it before. Performing Arts in Germantown Performing Arts. I was like, jeez, I just paid for parking, and I gave it to some guy. I said, we got to come here. You got to see the Orpheum, though. Yeah. It's just like, every time I'm in there, Doc, I think, is this real or is this memorized?
Oh, it's fantastic.
Like you're inside a painting.
It's fantastic. It really is.
And so she said, where's Germantown? I said, it's about an intermission away. And we made it there by intermission. Have you ever been to the Germantown Performing Arts?
I've not been to that one, no.
It's nice, but
it ain't the Orpheum.
No, that is one of my favorite of all time. Yeah, have you ever seen a show at the New Daisy?
No.
Have you, Larry?
No, I haven't. That's the one in Huntington?
No, man. Memphis. We're talking about Memphis.
Oh, okay. What's the one in...
Doc, you don't have any drug test kits on you, do you?
No, I don't.
Okay. I pass them all anyway.
Yeah, I know. It's disappointing. But what were you going to say, Larry? It's show business.
Yeah, I know. But that's the one that that I'm thinking of. Hal Holbrook and his wife owned. I thought that was the Daisy, but it's not.
No, that's the Dixie.
Dixie. Well, starts with the same letter.
That's why you're not in tourism. When you have the meeting in the morning, get everybody ready to go and pumped up, and he said, down there to the New Daisy, they said, well, Larry, we're going to have to reprint this stuff. It's the Dixie. They said, well, hell with that. It starts with a D. They'll figure it out. Come on, Larry.
There you go, buddy.
I said he was born trash.
No.
I didn't trash him.
I didn't trash him. Hal Holbrook. You remember him?
Yeah. Bumped into him at the Peabody one time.
Hal Holbrook?
Hal Holbrook, sure did.
Did you say Mark Twain?
No, I didn't, because they like to be left alone. They don't want to be stopped and
I'm with you.
Contacted by the public. So I just nodded, and he nodded. Nice guy. Heck of a nice guy. But I was going to say, one of the funnest things to do in Memphis is go to the Peabody for drinks and take a horse carriage ride around.
I've done both those. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Saw Billy
really
Joel.
Nice.
Saw Billy Joel. It's period years ago,
yeah.
And we were staying at Peabody, and my girlfriend Kelly, we stayed up till like 4 a.m. I'm telling you, he always plays here after he plays a show in Memphis. He always plays right here in the lobby of the Peabody.
Did he come?
No.
Oh.
No. And she was mad at me because Billy Joel didn't show up. I said, wait a minute. This doesn't seem...
It's not your fault.
I said, this ain't my fault. It's great to be with you this afternoon. Here is on News Talk 96.5 FM. If you've not downloaded our free apps, please do so. Our apps, they fit Apple and they fit Android. You can download those with Apple devices. Just go to your app store and type in News Talk 96.5. Pardon me. News Talk 96.5 FM. Download that free mobile app. Our website is embedded in the app. It makes it very easy for you to do. If you have an Android product, go to your Google Play Store and type in News Talk 96.5 FM and download our free mobile app right there. Our mobile app also, as I mentioned, it has our website embedded, so you can always go to our website, newstalk965.com, newstalk965.com, and we think it's the best website in West Tennessee. It is one heck of a website. All the latest local, state, and national news, sports, and weather. And Larry, you say in national sports, it's the Masters looks like it's going to spill over into Monday because of the weather down in Augusta.
Yeah.
Is that right?
That's right.
That's what I thought.
Did she say it on Twitter?
By the way, I don't know if you've been watching the hearings over the last couple of weeks on Twitter. Well, it was a month or two ago. In front of the Senate Judiciary Committee. What's his name? Ohio Jim. What's Jim's last name?
Comer.
No,
Comey.
Hi, how are you? Melissa, happy Easter, Melissa. Is that not a lovely lady right there?
Yes,
she is the best. I'm a little afraid of her, but she is the best.
We'll see you on Curvy Girl. Happy Easter weekend, Melissa. Text me when you're home. Call me. Yeah, she's wonderful. Easter weekend. Happy happy Easter weekend and Good Friday, folks. We'll be right back here on the program, and we're going to take a look at the latest local news. And, Doc, what's on your mind? What would you like to get into, Doc and Larry, as we make our way through this Friday? We take you, we push you, and we pull you. Here's a 3 o'clock hour to fucking on the downhill slide into the weekend. Yes, sir, Doc.
Here's a woman with chutzpah.
Oh?
She's 75 years old. In 2020, she robbed a bank in St. Louis. And the other day, she went back to the bank, and police officers responded to reports of a bank robbery in process at about 3:20 p.m. Wednesday at Gopert Financial Bank. Well, en route, they recognized the now 78-year-old Bonnie Gooch. She was previously convicted of bank robbery in 2020, and her sentence was suspended. But apparently she has not learned her lesson because she was back robbing the bank. This is her third.
How old is she?
78.
I like her already.
This is her third.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
The third?
They caught her.
This is her third bank robbery. She robbed a bank in California 46 years ago.
Jeez. She sounded like a lot of fun.
She got nerves.
Yep. Mamaw gonna get arrested again. We'll be right back, folks. Stay right there. It is 4:40 and it's 60 degrees. It's Good Friday. Hanging out with Larry Newman and Dr. Mark Fowler. Doc, it's great to have you both here. Good Friday, gentlemen. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name's Dawn. I have been taking BioTE at Advanced Medical. My moods are better. I sleep well. My husband has complimented me on the mood swings that are no longer affecting our marriage.
Are these problems affecting your work, your relationships, and your quality of life? You'll be happy to know there's an exciting, natural solution available called BioTE. BioTE uses a natural way for men and women to correct these problems by safely and accurately balancing hormone levels without the use of synthetic injections or cream.
I got blood work done, and they identified what hormones were out of balance. They gave me the bioidentical hormone pellets through BioTE, and now I have more energy, no more brain fog, I'm sleeping better, and I feel like my old self again. I would recommend Advanced Rehab and Medical and their BioTE program to anyone suffering with symptoms like mine. It's been life-changing.
To book your appointment, call 731-462-8580. That's 731-462-8580.
Not too expensive, nothing too fancy, just an authentic Italian family recipe served up piping hot, just like a pizza pie should be. Locally owned and operated Carico's Pizza, home of the $8 lunch special. 2 slices and a drink for just $8. Buy the slice or the 28-inch monster. Perfect for the ball game. Carico's Pizza, 1370 Union University Drive. For catering, call 731-240-1033. For the full menu, visit caricospizza.com.
Looking to add a little spice to your love life?
Nothing adds spice like gunpowder.
Jackson's only indoor shooting range, date night at the range. Here's what you lovebirds get: a shooting lane for 2 targets, 100 rounds of ammo, eye and ear protection, and a $30 gift certificate to Texas Roadhouse. All for just $99.99.
Now that's firepower.
Perfect for a gift card from the range. The Range, 2310 North Highland Avenue in Jackson.
Go to therange.com.
News Talk West Tennessee includes newstalk965.com and Newstalk 96.5 FM, covering local news, sports, and weather on an extensive network of platforms, including radio, social media streaming, digital TV, live stream, podcasts, all on your devices. Our local and live weekday lineup includes Daybreak with Greg Wood and G-Unit, Walker Talks with Chuck Walker and Julie Holt, The Dan Reeves Show with Gina Langley and Larry Newman, Dave Ramsey, Jackson-Madison County Schools Game of the Week, UT Vols Sports, and the Memphis Grizzlies. Local, live, News Talk West Tennessee and newstalk965.com. Hear it first on News Talk 96.5 FM. We might be talking about you.
Vintage doesn't always mean long-lasting. As your home systems age, your repair costs, utility bills, and breakdowns rise. During Hiller's Vintage Showdown, we're giving away a free new system to the owner of the oldest HVAC unit. Submit a picture of your old equipment online to see if you qualify as the winner. Everybody wins with trade-in credits plus 0% financing for up to 48 months with approved credit on select new HVAC systems. Enter to win now at happyhiller.com.
All the happy face truck today.
Watch
Tennessee Championship Wrestling every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. on NewsTalkWestTennessee.com.
See all the Memphis legends, Jerry the King Lawler, Dangerous Doug Gilbert, Superstar Bill Dundee, along with stars of today,
The Mid-South Prodigy Bam Bam Bundy, MJ Davis, Mr. Marvelous Mike Mayo, Insane Dane, Big Gravy, The Rocket Josh Benson, Lucky P. Larson, and many, many more.
You can also view TCW on the News Talk West Tennessee app for all your Apple and Android devices.
Catch Tennessee Championship Wrestling every Saturday at noon on NewsTalkWTN.com.
Let's face it, people want to feel loved, appreciated, and pampered. Beauty to the Bone has a mission and a purpose to help you look and feel beautiful inside and out. From facials to Botox, fillers, lasers, IV therapy, functional medicine, and all in between, we've got you covered. Book your appointment today to feel your very best tomorrow.
Book your appointment today. Call 731-300-9103. That's 731-300-9103.
Hi, my name's Dawn. I have been taking BioT at Advanced Medical. My moods are better. I sleep well. My husband has complimented me on the mood swings that are no longer affecting our marriage.
Are these problems affecting your work, your relationships, and your quality of life? You'll be happy to know there's an exciting, natural solution available called BioT. BioT uses a natural way for men and women to correct these problems by safely and accurately balancing hormone levels without the use of synthetic injections or cream.
I got blood work done, and they identified what hormones were out of balance. They gave me the bioidentical hormone pellets through BioT, and now I have more energy, no more brain fog, I'm sleeping better, and I feel like my old self again. I would recommend Advanced Rehab and Medical and their BioT program to anyone suffering with symptoms like mine. It's been life-changing.
To book your appointment, call 731-462-8580. That's 731-462-8580.
Is your office or home office in need of a new printer, copier, fax, or multifunction machine? Do you need business cards, envelopes, or office supplies? Are you looking to upgrade to new office furniture? Office World Incorporated in Trenton has been serving all of the Gibson County and the West Tennessee area for over 65 years. Office World is a franchise partner of OfficeZilla. Call today, 731-855-9131, or email officeworldinc@gmail.com.
The Memphis Grizzlies play here. 96.5 FM, News Talk, West Tennessee. NewsTalkWTN.com.
It's Good Friday, and it's a pleasure to have you along with us today here on the program. 96.5 FM, Dan Reeves, Dr. Lloyd Fowler. Hello, Doc.
Hello, Dan. How are you?
Fantastic. Then Larry Newman is here. Hello, Newman.
Hello, Reeves.
Well, I'd have it today, kind of touching on some headlines for you. How the Democrats took advantage of the spotlight amid expulsion debate. That's part of the headlines in today's Tennessee, and I can't wait to read this one. As the bullhorn, well, 3 morons with a bullhorn. Did it deserve expulsion? There's some pushback, but the verdict is in, Doc. I don't think you can unring that bell.
No.
Do you?
No, but Larry raised an interesting point, and it makes perfect sense. If they are reelected and you know, either the Nashville Metro Council has indicated they're probably going to send one of them back, and I'm confident the Shelby County City Council or Memphis City Council will send one back. That's it. You can't punish them any further. If they come back or sent back, that's it. The issue's over.
I guess you could expel them again if they did something else with the bullhorn.
If they did something else.
If they do the same thing, they can't expel them.
Is that right?
You can only get once. Can't.
Well,
they do the same thing. I was just reading from an article.
Double jeopardy. It's okay. Well, we probably haven't heard the blast of this. But as Larry always says, there's always room for the best. Isn't that what you say?
That's right.
Got to get past your mind, folks, and get into your heart. Challenge yourself. Make your move before you're ready. That's typically what I do.
Now,
low-risk living is not conducive to growth. Did you know Helen Keller said this, Doc, that life is short and unpredictable, so she recommended that you eat your dessert first.
That's
not a bad way to do it, is
interesting.
it? Yeah.
There's a remarkable person.
Yeah.
You've ever
blind and deaf from birth.
You ever visited her place in Alabama?
No, I have to do that.
That's a great. Have you done it, Larry?
No, I haven't.
It's worth it, I tell you. Hey, jump in here with us. It's 731-265-6496. The CWA phone lines 731-265-6496 to join us in the phone lines. Get up in here. We've got a lot to talk about. We're kind of taking you in, pulling you and pushing you through the afternoon hours on a downhill slide into the weekend. And it's Good Friday. School's out today, by the way. And the number again, the phone number 731-265-6496. You can text the program. The Advanced Rehab and Medical text line. Text the show by texting 731-800-8398. 731-800-TEXT. Save it in your phone. Save our phone line as well. 731-265-6496. The text line presented by Advanced Rehab and Medical. Dr. Shannon Ball, ranked in the top 10 for chiropractors on planet Earth. That's stout. AdvancedRehabJackson.com. Okay, now, if you've been in an accident, if your car's been in an accident and you've got a dent or two, Precision Auto Body is the place to go. Mark and Kim, it's family-owned and operated. Now they've over a quarter century in business. Their new place, I call it new because it's a couple, 3 years old in Medina. Well, between Medina and Milan. And they can handle huge RVs. I mean, it's a big place, Doc.
Yeah.
And they specialize in complete collision repair on domestic and imports, including BMW and Mercedes. They replace headliners and carpeting. And they've always been out front as the leader when it comes to technology and the advancements like the Maximus computer, the WEEP systems, and just producing amazing results. They have rental cars on site. If you get in an accident, they'll come get your vehicle, drop off the rental car, and then once it's complete, they'll bring your car back and take the rental car back. It's pretty sweet.
That's a great service.
Yep.
That's a great marketing plan.
Yep, they've got a fleet of rentals right there on site. Precision Auto Body. 731-783-0075. The website is precisionautobodygn.com. Also in Dyersburg and Martin. Precision Auto Body. Now, Doc, you were about to say something, I think. What's on your mind?
Well, I just want to remind everybody, if you have a roof over your house, if you're going to have a ham on your table for Easter, if your family's going to be around you and they're happy and they're healthy, it's important to remember this particular weekend about the people in McNairy County, Covington, Mississippi, and elsewhere who maybe have lost everything. And maybe have lost family members, have lost their housing and lost their possessions. So take some time and give to Samaritan's Purse or Red Cross or a charity that's going to help these people because they could sure use it. That's a difficult experience to be losing everything, particularly at this time of year. So
you're kidding. And Doc, it's the first Easter without that family member, right?
That's right.
Makes it tough.
It does.
Whew, Lordy, glad you said that, Doc. Keep them in mind, those folks down in McNairy County and across the state that have lost loved ones recently to those tornadoes that have rolled through. Larry, you got big plans for Easter or just going to kind of take it easy?
Just take it easy.
Is that a bad plan, is it?
No, it's not.
Yep. I always aim low. Problem is, Doc, I normally hit. And for all those, for the nice birthday wishes, thank you, folks. I appreciate that very much. My mom sent me a birthday wish this morning, and she reminded me how proud she was of me back when I was in school. She still drives around with a bumper sticker. I think it reads, my child ate all of his tater tots. That's where I'm maxed out with that on that And we did a bumper sticker. It's so yeah, Doc. That is Easter's a great relationships. That's what life's all about, isn't it?
It is. And I can't help but mention that if we reached out to one another, if we reached out to the kids, and I'm talking to kids now who are awkward, the adults who are awkward, we might save a mass shooting. Because so often those people are lonely and isolated and nobody to talk to, and they just lose it. And maybe if the shooter in Nashville had somebody to reach out to, that might have had a different outcome. In any event, it never hurts anybody to be a friend.
That's true. I wonder, with all the, the people who've been nearly breaking their neck jumping on the I hate trannies, and the trannies just shouldn't be able to go to brunch bandwagon, how much that plays into it all, But was this was a guy that was transitioning into a girl, and then right, the shooter?
No, she was born female, transitioning to a male.
But I had it reverse. Yeah. I wonder, I have no idea. I can't speak to that. But the mental, there was a mental illness there, right? Being treated for.
Yeah. A lot of these people have difficulty being accepted, and it's a disturbing thing, and they're at odds with their families. They can't keep a job, but then they get love bombed, so to speak, by the transgender movement advocates, and they feel accepted and worthy and so forth and so on. So that's part of what's playing a role in this thing. Not all of it, but that's playing a role.
Playing a role in
people becoming transgender. They don't feel accepted.
I think that's all true what you said, but out of order. I think it's they're transitioning, and the only people that will accept them would be their own kind, so to speak.
Yeah.
But the family doesn't disown them until they come out and say that they're gay or transgender.
Well, it's a difficult thing for families to deal with. They don't understand it, have never seen it before, and now you've got this unusual presentation. It's very disconcerting.
Yeah, and people accept it different ways. I've known some that say, it's my child, or whatever, I love them.
Right.
And others, though, just, oh, hell no.
Yeah.
Out. Get out.
Which is probably a reflection of the bad dynamics in the family from a long-standing situation.
The chain, right?
Yeah.
Break the chain.
Yeah.
Larry, are you on TikTok?
No, sir. What
if I told you Curvy Girl had a TikTok page? Would you join then?
No.
Is Fruit Loops, is that real a fruit? Any thoughts?
No,
I'm
Fruit
kidding.
Loops is not a fruit.
Now, Doc, this text
fruit
comes in
flavored.
on the candy cigarettes. Larry, when I met him, he was singing the national anthem at a candy cigarette eating contest that I ended up winning. Larry was sang the national anthem there. He parlayed that into, for a couple of years, singing the national anthem at cockfights. That's a pretty good gig.
Yeah.
Plus, you got season tickets as well. 4 season tickets until they were all got arrested. It's illegal.
Yeah, cockfighting is illegal.
He said he didn't know. He pleaded ignorance. I said, Larry, just shut up. Let me do the talking. And then we all went to jail. No, the text came in earlier about the debts. We haven't talked about that in a while.
$31 trillion.
$31 trillion. Then there's a consumer debt. Have you seen that? That's even more staggering.
How much is that?
Ways. I don't have the figure in front of me. Let's look it up and see, because Doc, that's staggering as well. Now, we as a nation have the ability to tell China to take a walk. Forget about it. But we have a military. I don't have one at home. I can't tell the bank, hey, look, if you think you want to come get my house, go ahead. I've got the United States military. They said, what? And then I'm evicted, you know what I mean? But so individuals don't have as many. They can't go to plan B, which is I'll bomb you if you try to collect on the debt. But
here's an article dated April 7, 2023. Consumer credit hit a record high of $4.82 trillion in February. I don't know if that's all together or if that's just in February or what that is. Credit card debt has been climbing for close to 2 years following a decrease during the pandemic. Let's see. Mortgages and student loans are rising more slowly. Total consumer credit has risen $34.8 billion since December to a total of roughly $4.82 trillion.
Help! Yeah, we do. That's lordy. What's the average credit card debt's like? $15,000?
$5,900.
$5,900 on average.
Yeah.
Okay. How could we get out of this debt? There was a text that we'll talk about. So when we come back, that said we ought to start selling naming rights on, national monuments, like the Washington monuments, things like NASCAR does.
Dan Reeves Monument.
You could be, the Washington Monument sponsored by Viagra or Cialis.
Viagra.
But we'll talk about that when we come back. Stay right there.
This is WBFG 96.5 FM. 96.5 FM. Parker's Crossroads, Jackson.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Jason Walker. Israeli military carrying out airstrikes on targets belonging to Hamas in both southern Lebanon and the Gaza Strip.
Israel's military chief of staff says he was ordering the call-up of reservists with a particular emphasis on air defense. The airstrikes carried out overnight in Lebanon, reportedly near the Palestinian refugee camp at Tyre, marked the end of Israel's response for the moment, according to a military spokesman. Dozens of rockets were fired overnight from Gaza in response to Israeli strikes there. And earlier today, 2 Israeli women were shot dead as they travelled in an Israeli car near the town of Hamra in the occupied West Bank.
BBC correspondent Lucy Williamson in Jerusalem. Russian authorities say Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich has been charged officially now with espionage and has entered his official denial. Wall Street Journal sharply denying the accusations. Also at townhall.com, a call for stronger international support of efforts to ban North Korea from sending workers abroad and to curb the North's cybercrime.
The U.S., South Korea, and Japan say such steps are necessary to block Pyongyang's means to fund its nuclear program. The top nuclear envoys met in Seoul Friday to discuss how to cope with North Korea's growing nuclear arsenal. The North's secret weapons tests show its intent on acquiring more advanced missiles designed to attack the U.S. and its allies rather than returning to talks. Rhonda Rockstra reporting.
Authorities say a man fleeing police in Northern California took 2 hostages at a public park, killed one of them before surrendering. That after earlier wounding one highway patrol officer. Officials say it all happened in the city of Roseville, just northeast of Sacramento. His families played at a nearby camp. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Miss Prager here. Sue and I mean it. Dogs are part of our family. We love Otto and Snoopy so much. There's nothing quite like their loyal companionship. So we provide them with Rough Greens. In fact, I just talked to my wife about it because we want them to be healthy and we want them to be with us as long as possible. That's true. I know Sebastian Gorka feels the same way.
The Pragers and I couldn't agree more. Our pups, Killian and Leia, rely on us to provide what's best for them. And naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black has packed Rough Greens full of vitamins, minerals, digestive enzymes, omega oils, and more that supplement their food in a way that has shown us great results. Trying out Rough Greens is an easy yes, recommended by me, Dr. G.
Naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black here, and I'm so proud that the Pragers and Sebastian Gorka have entrusted their dog's health to Rough Greens. I'm so confident that Rough Greens can help your dog, I'm offering you a free Jumpstart trial bag. Just cover the shipping. Yes, your dog's food is dead food, but you can bring it back to life with Rough Greens. Go to ruffgreens.com.
Wisconsin GOP Senator Ron Johnson says he ran for re-election last year so he could shed light on the damage done by mandatory COVID vaccines. Here's Bob Agnew.
Senator Johnson says nobody else is sticking up for those injured by the vaccine and told Fox Business, quote, "These vaccine injuries are real, they're serious, they're not all that rare." Johnson openly defies pro-vaccine orthodoxy and claiming, as he did during his campaign, that the vaccine can be dangerous. He even says it's to blame for thousands of deaths. Should Republicans recapture the majority in 2024, Johnson says, as a committee chairman, he would be in a position to, in his words, uncover and expose the truth. Bob Agnew reporting.
Tennessee Republicans expelling 2 Democratic lawmakers from the state legislature for their role in a protest calling for more gun control. County commissions in each of those districts will now choose temporary replacements. Breaking news at AnalysisTownHall.com. Candy is being targeted in California. John Scott has the story.
A bill in the California legislature would ban 5 chemicals found in some of the most popular candy in the U.S. The bill by Assemblymaker Jesse Gabriel would ban chemicals found in candy like Skittles, Starburst, and Peeps. He said his goal is to not ban candy in California, but wants companies to use different ingredients to make the candy. 2 of the ingredients, including red dye number 3, have been linked to cancer. The National Confectioners Association says there is no reason to ban the chemicals because U.S. regulators say they are safe. John Scott reported.
Magnitude 4.0 earthquake has shaken parts of central Oklahoma. No injuries reported and only very minor damage. Trouble could be on the way in Florida. Authorities there say the threat of major wildfires growing following severe drought. More on these stories at townhall.com.
King Jewelers is not your typical jewelry store. It's an iconic symbol of love. Custom-made jewelry to suit the most discriminating taste. Or you can redesign an old piece that's just sitting in a jewelry box. Create something completely new and unique. Grover has over 40 years experience as a certified jeweler. Visit KingJewelerJackson.com. King Jewelers at 16B Conrad Drive, Jackson. Follow King Jewelers Jackson on social media for special savings.
Hi, I'm Terica Smith, a local attorney and proud JMCSS graduate, but I'm also a JMCSS parent. We chose Jackson Madison County Schools for educational options that are innovative and challenging. Whether it's the Academic Academy at Northeast or early college and career opportunities at JCM Early College High, JMCSS offers classes and programs that will prepare my son for college and beyond. Plus, JMCSS is a Level 5 district and tuition free. It just makes sense.
Hi, I'm Greg Hammond, Chief of Public Information for the Jackson-Madison County School System. With an increased focus in the fine arts, athletics, workforce development, and early career opportunities for students, there's never been a better time to choose us. Tuition-free, Jackson-Madison County Schools. Visit jmcss.org today to schedule a tour or call 731-345-7011.
Hi, my name's Dawn. I have been taking BioT at Advanced Medical. My moods are better. I sleep well. My husband has complimented me on the mood swings that are no longer affecting our marriage.
Are these problems affecting your work, your relationships, and your quality of life? You'll be happy to know there's an exciting, natural solution available called BioT. BioT uses a natural way for men and women to correct these problems by safely and accurately balancing hormone levels without the use of synthetic injections or cream.
I got blood work done, and they identified what hormones were out of balance. They gave me the bioidentical hormone pellets through BioT, and now I have more energy, no more brain fog, I'm sleeping better, and I feel like my old self again. I would recommend Advanced Rehab and Medical and their BioT program to anyone suffering with symptoms like mine. It's been life-changing.
To book your appointment, call 731-462-8580. That's 731-462-8580.
News Talk West Tennessee includes NewsTalk965.com and NewsTalk 96.5 FM, covering local news, sports, and weather on an extensive network of platforms, including radio, social media streaming, digital TV, live stream, podcasts, all on your devices. Our local and live weekday lineup includes Daybreak with Greg Wood and G-Unit, Walker Talks with Chuck Walker and Julie Holt, The Dan Reeves Show with Gina Langley and Larry Newman, Dave Ramsey, Jackson-Madison County Schools Game of the Week, UT Vols Sports, and the Memphis Grizzlies. Local, live, News Talk West Tennessee and NewsTalk965.com. Hear it first on News Talk 96.5 FM. We might be talking about you.
For nearly 30 years, Cambridge Limited has been the place where West Tennesseans come for their dress clothes needs. We are so thankful for the many customers who have stood by us through the years and allowed us to play such a special role in the biggest moments of their lives. Our customer service is unparalleled, and our tailors work around the clock to ensure that your clothes are custom fit to you. With no suit in the store more than $2.59, there is something for everybody here at Cambridge. Come and see what we are all about, or give us a call to book your own wedding appointment today at Cambridge.
Get all the latest news, talk, weather, and sports. NewsTalkWTN.com and 96.5 FM.
Song was kind of fitting last night. Larry kept asking Chuck, who's going to drive you home tonight? Good to be with you this Good Friday. My name is Dan Reeves with two of my dear friends. Dr. Mark Fowler is in the house. Hey, Doc.
How you doing, Dan?
I'm doing great. I'm only feeling a little bit better, man. I tell you what, allergies and this time of year, they don't mix very well.
No. Can I talk about allergies a second?
I wish you would, Doc. Dr. Mark Fowler, ladies and gentlemen. Larry Newman's here as well. Larry's not a doctor, but he's still here.
But I
Hello,
play one
Newman.
on TV.
He stayed in Holiday Inn last night.
He's one of the few tranny doctors around. That's right.
He identifies as a doctor.
Yeah. It's Larry.
You just say that because I drive a Trans Am.
There you go.
Hello. It's our apologies to the late great Burt Reynolds, but Larry, you look silly in that lab coat. I got to tell you. Doc, go ahead.
It's seasonal allergy time, and you know this. Most people know it because they have watery, itchy eyes, sneezing, coughing, sinus congestion, and that's a characteristic marker of seasonal allergies. If you go out in the morning, some mornings there'll be this fine yellow film on your car. Mm-hmm. That's the pollen from the trees, and that's one of the things that you're allergic to.
I knew it.
Now, there are all shades of this. Some have it very mild. Some have it more severe. Here's what you can do before you spend money on the doctor. Number one, Clarinex or
now,
Claritin.
Doc, you know we're in there, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Claritin, Clarinex.
Yeah, wait a minute. You're putting patients before dollars.
That's correct. Yeah.
That's weird. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm just...
Clarinex, Claritin. Zyrtec is a little bit sedating. Benadryl is very sedating, but it is also an antihistamine. Benadryl, brompheniramine, chlorpheniramine are first-generation antihistamines.
Oldies but goodies?
Yeah, if you can deal with the sedation. Yeah.
Okay, that's not what Bill Cosby was. No, that was horse tranquilizers.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, you can't.
Don't you ever wonder why at the co-op because Bill Cosby kept buying horse tranquilizers, someone didn't think to say, Bill, that horse of yours seems really nervous.
In any event, Claritin, Clarinex, Zyrtec are all fine antihistamines. If that does not work, the next thing you should try is Claritin or Zyrtec or Allegra plus a nasal saline. You just flush out your sinuses several times a day. Now, they make a little machine that does that, too. I can't think of the name of it. But what is that thing?
It's
Navage.
Nor something.
Navage. Now, the problem with that is you have to keep it scrupulously clean. Otherwise, you're going to get infected. So that's a good thing to do. Flonase nasal spray. Now, if you've tried Claritin, Zyrtec, Allegra, not all together, but one or the other, and sometimes people say this one works, that one doesn't work, and the nasal saline.
Okay.
Then go to Flonase or Rhinocort, which are both. All of this stuff is available over the counter. And that will take care of 75 to 80% of the people with severe allergies. The next step is Montelukast, also known as Singulair, but that's prescription. So save yourself a little time and aggravation by trying what you can over the counter before you spend the money on a doctor. I mean, I just assume people keep their money and spend it on their children or whatever.
Next time Larry and I go, have one of those weekends and run through our savings that we have to hit up Facebook with a GoFundMe page. It's, yeah.
Well, you could sell your gold teeth to go to the doctor.
Yeah. I've tried that. I've done that a couple
gives him
times.
Street cred.
He's got to hang on to his street cred.
I've got plenty of street cred powder. But they, it's. I tell you, it's a struggle out there for some people.
It is.
Some people have it really bad, and others. And I didn't have this sinus trouble, Doc, or allergies until the last few years.
Lots of people in this part of the country, because the pollen is so thick around here and the mold is so thick, because of the humidity and the number of trees that we have. So if you live in a big city, you tend not to have as much. But that's what's happening. With
now,
people.
I know you folks in Atwood are saying Jackson is a big city. But here's to you.
Yeah.
But big cities, New York City. Nashville's become a big city, hasn't it?
It has. It really has. The downtown area is just booming.
Yeah. It's. Have you been there lately to Nashville?
Oh, yeah.
It's been a while since I've been. Well, actually, Murfreesboro now. Murfreesboro and Nashville Nashville's just kind of reached out and
it has.
But Murfreesboro has grown so much over the last decade or two. Then the traffic there is just horrible in Murfreesboro. Lordy, just I've been going to a couple of the state tournaments or in basketball and football for 23 years, and it went from a sleepy little town to what happened here?
It's huge.
Discovered gold or oil. But and now we're going to experience some of those growing pains. Thank goodness we get out in front as far as the infrastructure. Widening I-40 was huge.
Right.
Get that off. It's almost complete now. And then the widening of the interchange between the bypass at I-40.
Right.
But there is certainly the southern bypass will be something I think we'll kick back up. Larry, you live out south. Is what's the word around the Bemis coffee pot? Or the campfire there in Bemis about the southern bypass. Do you think it's needed right now? Or do you think it would be beneficial if we went ahead and got that underway to have it complete because 60,000 jobs, that's the forecast coming to our area. It's kickstarted, of course, by Blue Oval City. What do you make of it, Larry?
I think they need to go on and get that finished.
Yeah, before the traffic
there's
is
just a lot
miserable.
of stuff that they've got to do here before all these people move or, so I say they get after it.
Yeah.
Go ahead and get after it now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because Nashville, Doc, they're trying to expand the infrastructure after the growth, and that's tough. That's doing it again reverse.
Yeah, it's tough. It takes some long-term planning and so forth and so on, and then you have to balance what you plan for and what actually occurs. And that's always an issue as well.
Yep.
And then we've got electric cars we're going to have to start thinking about dealing with, and that's going to be a major infrastructure issue as well, getting the power out there.
It's, have you owned an electric vehicle?
Never have.
How about you, Larry?
No, sir.
It's same here. Two friends of mine bought, pardon me, what you call it? What's Elon Musk's car? What is
Tesla?
that? Tesla. And they love them. Absolutely love. Yeah. What a friend of mine bought. It was a pre-owned with about 40,000 miles on it. Get it at a good price. Beautiful vehicle. But he says he gets 300 some miles of charge out of it.
Yeah, that's good.
And at night, he said it takes about as much power to charge it as a hairdryer would. So
that's interesting.
Yeah, and he loves it. But before you go off on a trip, though, you would have to map it out based off the available charging stations, wouldn't you?
Right. Yeah, because you're going to hit a spot where you've got to have several hours worth of charging time.
Right.
And it's not like you can stop at the interstate, just pull off the interstate, and pump some gas, and be on your way.
That's exactly. Did you used to watch the Jetsons?
Yeah.
Did you, Larry?
Yes.
You're a sci-fi guy. I was doing a show a few years ago, and a guy was like, "I can't believe we don't have flying cars by now, but we'll have them in the future." And I don't know what your thoughts on that is, but Larry, what do you think?
I always wanted a car I could turn into a briefcase and carry it around, but
a flying car. Not
that
a car
was
you
a
can fold up.
car that would do that.
Okay, yeah, on the Jetsons, but yeah, come on.
No, I'm no
don't
way.
See
I'm,
it.
no.
Not, these people can't even drive on the ground.
They can't drive. That's right.
Well, exactly. Okay, because I was explaining on the air about this. I said, we're never going to have flying cars.
No.
And he was like, I think he invested in flying cars. But it was, because think about it. I mean, commercial airplane, there's a reason why they fly even up to 45,000 feet.
Right.
There's a lot of room up there, and they need it.
Yeah.
And if you got in your car, say you went to AutoZone, you flew in and landed out in the parking lot, then you're going to fly back home. But you're going to check in with the tower, and they're going to tell you, you need to, on your drive home, you need to be at about 20,000 feet because of the traffic.
Yeah.
That's never going to happen. So you go straight up and straight down, essentially. It's just never going to happen.
No, well, but maintaining a flying vehicle is extraordinarily expensive. I mean, if the engine goes bad, you're going to have a really bad day, and when you hit the ground, it's going to leave a mark.
It's hard to shake that off. It really is.
Reminds me of what Ron White said one time. He was flying on an airplane, and one of the engines went out, and this guy next to Ron White was just freaking out. He said, oh no, how far can we go on just one engine? And Ron White turns to him, he says, all the way to the crash site. Which is a good thing, because that's where we're headed. We'll beat the paramedics by about 30 minutes.
Yeah, Ron White is a funny guy. I didn't. That's redneck. Was that redneck comedy?
Yeah.
Now, Jeff Foxworthy, I'm not a fan. I don't get that. I'm
not a fan of it. Ron White's hilarious.
Ron White is hilarious.
Yeah.
I hated to see him on tour with. And that guy that does the here's your sign. Jeez.
No, I don't know. I haven't heard that.
Yeah, what's that guy's name?
Bill Engvall.
What is it?
Bill Engvall.
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 Are you a fan of his?
I like all of them. I like Larry the Cable Guy. And then Ron White, and then Foxworthy, and then Engvall's last. But they all have funny bits that they do that are funny.
Hilarious.
You better redneck.
That's right.
I guess so. I mean, they've done well.
Yeah. Is it Chris Rock? Have you ever heard? Oh, Chris Rock is just funny, and he just gets away with murder, because of the subject matter of his talk and everything. But he's hilarious. He's a scream.
Yeah, he is. He's funny. But I tell you what is concerning is that the woke crowd, if you want to put it that way, the far left, people. These are not liberals. This is far left. It's a dangerous crew. Jerry Seinfeld. I've heard him say Chris Rock. Rock and Seinfeld are evidently very good friends, and they won't play college campuses any longer because. They're like, don't say this, don't talk about that, blah, 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 blah. Comedians now.
Yeah.
Now that's dangerous, especially when it's comedians.
It is. It is dangerous.
You know what I mean, Larry?
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? So if you're part of the woke crowd, stand back and don't stand by. Just before you stand up, stand down. Now, also, we move ahead with legislation here in Tennessee. And Doc, if you change your mind at all, your stance on, or if you thought about a way to do background checks before we sell someone with a mental disorder a hand cannon.
Well, here's I guess the closest solution I can think of is this, because there's a constitutional right to carry. Now that constitutional right can be limited.
Well-armed militia.
Yeah, you
that,
cannot.
Which is I thought that was the National Guard, though. The modern day. It's not.
No.
Who is the well-armed militia? Seriously, I don't know.
The citizenry.
But the well-armed militia, well-trained as well, right?
Yeah, well-armed. It didn't say well-trained, and here's the distinction.
Just so the hell with training people, right? Why do they train them? Soldiers.
The militia was the citizens.
The citizens.
They weren't an army.
That's
what's the definition of militia?
A citizen army.
Where's one? Where is one here?
We don't have those anymore.
That's the National Guard, isn't it?
No.
It's not?
No.
What are they classified
National
as?
Guard is a part of the Army.
Part of the Army? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So we don't have a well-armed militia.
well-regulated militia.
Well-regulated.
Yeah. And the issue was that the British.
Oh, do we?
No, we don't have a militia anymore.
Well, what the hell? Why do we keep you saying, well, it's a well-armed, well-regulated militia? But we don't have one. And if you can't even do a background check, that's not well-regulated.
Well, there's something to be said for all of those arguments. But nevertheless, where we are is there's a constitutional right to bear arms. But that is constricted. You can't have a bazooka. You can have a fully automatic weapon. You just have to pay a special license and undergo a background check. But you can,
what?
Yeah, you can buy a machine gun.
Well, why don't they sell those? Why do they do background checks for those? Do they check
they do.
for mental illness?
You have to have a Class 3 federal license to have a machine gun. But you
do
can
they check for mental illness?
Yeah.
Oh.
But here's what you have to do. But that's a Class 3 license. That's a special license.
But they do it though, right?
Yeah.
They're able to do it.
Yeah.
I haven't heard you.
Make all guns Class 3 license.
Yeah.
But I haven't heard you raising HELL over that.
Because there are very few people that do it.
Well,
and the fact of the matter is, if you're going to be engaged in a firefight, you don't need a fully automatic weapon anyway.
Well, who is planning on being engaged in a firefight?
Well, you never know. That's why
Do you ever plan for it?
No. Yes.
To be engaged in a firefight?
Yes.
But do you have a machine gun?
No.
Well, what if the other fellow does?
Well,
you got a problem.
Then no. If he's well trained, then I'm SOL. All right. But if he, there's a difference between having a machine gun and knowing what to do with it. And even the Army seldom uses fully automatic weapons on the individual combat soldier. They use 1 to 3 shots, and most of them use 1 shot. It's not like you see on Hollywood where they fire 5,000 rounds a minute. But you would have to have the purchaser say, okay, you may talk to my psychiatrist, and he can sign off on whether or not I'm competent to carry a firearm. I don't think that's ever going to happen.
Well, we do it for automatic weapons, though.
No, but here's the thing. Here's why it's never going to happen. First of all, the incidents, the number of new shooters, mass shooters in a year is relatively small. 300 million people in this country. The number of mass shooters is probably less than 20. It's very hard to screen.
What would you if we get to 50? Would that be enough?
It's hard to say because there's a serious social cost that goes along with these things.
Yes,
and school shootings have been going on, or mass homicides have been going on for a long, long time. You remember the Oklahoma City lunatic who blew up the truck?
Right.
All right.
Even as far back as... You're talking about the bombing. This was different than what we're...
Oklahoma City.
Yeah. That's a little different.
Yeah, and you cannot stop people from running into other people with automobiles in a crowd.
Well, then why do we bother even... We can't stop it. Why do you even have to have a license, driver's license?
Well, presumably because so you have some. I know. I humor them. Just humor him, Larry. Just
No, I think it's an honest question.
You have to have. Well, first of all, there's no constitutional right to drive a car.
But
it's a privilege.
But why don't we use? Shouldn't it be a privilege for an individual to have some guns?
No, not under the Constitution. It's the Supreme Court has interpreted.
It's not. The Supreme morons okay, look, here's what I'm saying. You're not a part of a well-regulated militia. I'm not, but we can carry guns, so the Second Amendment argument's out the window. With that, I don't know of a well-regulated militia.
Well, but the purpose of the clause is to allow people to defend themselves from tyranny.
Okay. And the tyranny means your government turning on you.
That's one of the things it means. The British turned on the American settlers and did things like...
What else would be tyranny? It would be the government.
The United States government.
Well, then we should... And Richard Archie got respect for him because he says, you're right, we should be able to have tanks at home. I should be able to drive around with anti-aircraft fire.
Well, I don't know so much
in the trunk of my car.
Yeah, I don't know so much about that because
how are you going to take on the world's biggest military?
Because it's not necessarily the military. I don't know what the military would do if called upon to.
Well, then why you worry about tyranny?
The FBI. Surely,
the FBI.
Surely you would concede the FBI is out of control.
If you just listen to right-wing media, you would think so. How do you think the FBI is out of control?
I absolutely think the FBI is out of control.
I'm not saying that you're wrong, but explain that.
The FBI conducted a raid on Trump's Mar-a-Lago home.
You know why?
Because he had records locked up.
Did he refuse to turn over?
He says he didn't, and they were negotiating.
Yeah, he said a lot of things.
Right.
Yeah,
but Joe
Biden
haven't
bailed
had
out to be true.
Records.
They went to his house too.
They were less secure than Trump's, and they didn't.
But he
pull
turned
guns
it.
on
But
him.
he turned because he said, "Yeah, guys, come get all you need."
That may be a distinction without a difference if it's true.
It's not a distinction without a difference. What you just said was some smoke screen right there.
That's
it is.
lawyer talk.
That's a great rebuttal.
That's lawyer talk. But Joe Biden did not have the same legal capacity to have the documents as President Trump did. Because,
why is that?
Because the Presidential Act only applies to the president, not to the vice president. So Joe Biden's.
But that's you're going a different direction. The point you were making about was the FBI. One of them said, "Hey guys, come get them." Actually, I think they called the Bidens called the FBI, called Washington, and said, "Hey, we got some documents."
Maybe it went down like.
No, I did. I'm not guessing at it.
But we can peel that onion down a little bit
further.
further.
Or actually, we can just. The important things here is that they called the FBI, said, "Hey, you need to come get these."
Yeah, but there was no raid.
Because they said, "Come get them."
Yeah, well,
they called.
I'm not sure.
Seriously,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. We got a caller.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So
to save you, so that's good.
It saved me from what? from what?
Digging
all this
hole
truth.
in Denver. Let's see what the caller has to say.
But you're saying though that there's no difference if you find some documents that are of national security, calling the FBI saying, "Hey guys, we found these. You want to come get them?" There was no need to raid, right?
There was no need to raid Trump. The FBI knew what was there. He knew what was there. They were under lock and key.
Doc, don't twist yourself into over a man, over your country because he was refusing to turn him over.
Maybe.
You know that.
Well, maybe he was, but that didn't warrant a raid.
Well, what did it warrant if he wouldn't give them to you?
Well, it warranted more discussion or a court action or something.
I think they gave him every chance possible. Let's be real here.
Didn't want to.
Let's go to the phone lines.
All right, let's see what
all right, you're next with us here as we have the phone lines on News Talk 96.5. You're on the air. Go.
Hi, Dan. I was just wanting to ask this. What were you and Larry talking about over the coffee pot when you mentioned the One People's Public Trust and all that news I call about, the frauds that Trump is exposing?
That was a long question. Can you, let's see.
Well, Trump is exposing all these things as fraud, and I've sent you dozens of emails.
Like what?
I read the Uniform Commercial Code on your show like 3 or 4 times already.
No, I don't need hold on. I don't need the entire code, Josh. By the way, happy Easter and Good Friday to you, sir. Give me an example of what Trump has exposed.
The fact that the federal government itself has always been a sham, especially since House Joint Resolution 192, way back in 1934 when it went bankrupt.
I agree with you. The system was corrupt before Trump got to town, no doubt. Did you hear what Kellyanne Conway said in an interview? I think it was on Fox News when she was. I think she was after Hunter Biden. I think she was going so far as to say, "I'm telling you, the government's buying Hunter's cocaine. The Democrats are buying his cocaine." but she was asked about Trump's cashing in on being the president in to Saudi Arabia, and she said, "Well, Jared's the only one that made as much as $2 billion off this." Did you hear that interview?
No.
Lord have mercy. I can't believe that flew out of her face. Yeah, I think anyone. And by the way, Democrats, I don't care if Hunter Biden was the sharpest guy that could have gone on that board. But what was the name of that company, that energy company out of
Burisma?
Burisma, that's it. Just the appearance of that. You know what, Doc? The vice president's son being placed on that board. Just the appearance of that.
Grossly inappropriate.
Yes. Just if everything was on the up and up, I still don't like that. and don't like what happened with Trump and his kids in there too, and in China and Saudi Arabia. But I agree with you, Josh. The government was corrupt. The system was corrupt before Trump ever got to Washington. No doubt.
Can I tell you how it's going to end, Dan? The same way it did back in 2012, because it's like everybody's free, We're all together in this. One people's public trust. Still with it 10 years later. No rebuttals, no counterpoints from any of the banks or governments. Have been served their courtesy notices.
All right, my man. Appreciate it very much.
Thanks for the call.
Enjoy
Josh.
the weekend. China, a resurgence in COVID-19. Doc, I want to ask you about that. Was on my mind. It's hit them hard, and there's thoughts that why is this reemerged to the degree that it has in China, is because some people are saying that when everyone masked up and stayed indoors, no one in China essentially has built up natural immunity to COVID-19. Do you think there's something to that?
I do. I think there's a legitimate argument to that. And what I mean by that is this. On a given day during the pandemic, a doctor in a clinic is exposed to COVID, and he gets a small dose, and his body mounts an immune response to it. And then 2 days later, he gets another small dose. So he's constantly getting small doses. Probably helps him resist the dose it takes to develop full-on COVID. I mean, even as we speak, we're ingesting tubercular germs, smallpox viruses, and all kinds of respiratory viruses. But because of our prior exposure, we're able to resist those less than contagious doses. So we're always in that battle. And then when you take people, and children are notorious for this, you take children and you expose them to all the things that are going around with the other children, they do get sick, but they also develop a stronger immune response. So there may be something to that.
Okay, and our bodies are remarkable. I've said before, we've earned our right to live on Earth. Another example, right? There's things out there trying to kill us,
right,
on a daily basis,
right.
And then that all M16, and that's the name of it, to the Venezuelan gangbangers, MI6. I get them mixed up.
Yeah.
I get them mixed up with.
You're fixated on M16.
Venezuela. It's a slippery slope. Venezuela. So COVID-19 is. COVID-19. Dr. Fauci's kind of disappeared. He retired, I guess, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
What's the doctor's name that was? She was sitting there when President Trump went into his infamous ramblings on spraying bleach, wash your lungs out.
Burke.
Yeah, that's it. She wrote a book. Have you read that?
No, I haven't.
It's on how damaging all it was. Everybody writes a book, though, these days.
Yeah, they do.
After the fact. Have you ever wondered why they don't, if it's a national security threat, the way that Bolton said, and others that have written books about Trump, why didn't they come out right then? Because if it was that serious a threat that our country was about to collapse, and I've used the example of what if Paul Revere would have come riding up on a horse, sweating and looking all nervous, and Larry ran out and said, "Paul, what's wrong?" He says, "I can't tell you now. You can read about it in 2 years in my book."
That's a good question. Now, certainly he would lose all credibility if he tried that. He went and held a press conference and said, "By the way, Trump's a lunatic." Or if Mark Milley said, "By the way, I called the Chinese today to warn them not to pay any attention to Trump," they'd lose their jobs immediately.
Okay. I buy that.
And they'd lose their ability to sell books. We got another call?
But if you think that it's a national security risk, what's it going to matter if we don't have a country, I guess? You know what I mean? The phone number to get in is 731-265-6496, 731-265-6496. People are standing by. We hit back to the phone lines. You're next up with us here live on News Talk 96.5. You're on the air. Go.
Hey, Dan.
Hi there.
Hi, it's Kim from down at the Camper Place. We're A&L now.
Kim?
Smallwood sold. Mm-hmm. Oh. No, we're no longer Smallwood, so.
Well, Kim, I hadn't heard from you in a long time. How are you doing?
I know. Doing very well. And I want to tell you, this news talk makes me so happy to hear you on the air. We keep it going. I keep it on my computer at work.
Well, Kim, thank you so much.
Yeah, I wanted to come tell you happy birthday.
Well, I need to come by there and see you. And thank you for calling. So tell us, if Smallwood sold, and so what's it like now? Everything good there?
Yeah, it's really good. Another family bought, and it's really great. We've redone the building. You won't even know it when you come. But, yeah, come by and see us. It's really good. But you have a great birthday and happy Easter.
Well, Kim, before you go, though, it's the selection about the same? Or is it grown? What all did the family buy?
There are 7 dealerships that they have. And Shane kept on our business, and they bought the camper sales.
Shane kept
and
what?
They own that corner lot by Gerdau, that road that goes down there to Maristeel.
All right.
Because they were going to put in a camper business there before Shane sold to them. They was going to put in competition across the street.
Lordy, that was an aggressive move, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, okay.
I think it helped him make his decision.
I guess so. But still, the family that bought Smallwoods, they sound like lovely people. If you think things are great, then.
They really are. Yeah, they're so good. They're good Christian people. They do business in a fair way. They want their legacy to not be how many campers they sold, but the way they changed lives and brought families together and spent time with people. They're just really good people.
Awesome. So it's still under the name Smallwoods?
No, they're A&L RV Sales.
What's the A&L stand for? Al or something different?
No, Andy is one of the brothers, and back when the business started, the dad put the A first so it would come first in the phone book.
That sneaky devil, I tell you. Yep, I'd have done the same thing. Well, that's interesting. You guys open, what's your hours?
We are 8 to 5 Monday through Friday and 9 to 4 on Saturday.
Okay. You working tomorrow?
We are.
I may swing through there. I tell you, have you been in Dr. Fowler and Larry's here, and Kim, and we did some remotes out there, and I was blown away by the technology in these modern RVs. I could live in one of those bad boys easily. And you know what? It's just, and then when you wake up, you don't even have to go out in the garage. You get in your car. You just walk up front and drive to work.
A lot of people are full time and in them.
Absolutely.
Is this the same kind of RV that Cousin Eddie had?
Same thing, only different.
Some of them are.
yeah. But anything changed over the last year or two with the technology and those things? Because I'm telling you, man,
I'd like to see it sometime.
Oh, you'd love it. It's Highway 45. If you just jump out here in Highland, head north, just before you get to where Highland meets the bypass out north, Smallwoods, A&L now on the left, heading north, and it's it just blew me away, Kim, doing those. I was like, you got to be kidding me. I mean, you got a full kitchen, don't you, Kim?
Yes, we have some now that run completely on solar, the air conditioner and everything.
Wow, that's impressive right there.
Yep. Well, Kim, I'm going to come and see you, and I'm glad you called. What's the website? ANLRVsales.com. ANLRVsales.com. Kim, thanks for calling. Wishing me a happy birthday. Hope you have a good Friday, what's left of it, and a great Easter weekend.
Thank you, Dan. I love the station, love the shows.
Thank you, Kim. By the way, Kim, let me invite you and A&L to our launch party that's coming up on April the 21st. We got restaurants that are going to be here, like the Blacksmith restaurant, going to have some food, and there's another couple of restaurants that have committed to being here. The Redcoats will be here. Business After Hours. The Chamber of Commerce will be here. And a 3-time Alabama Band of the Year, Trumaine, will be here playing 80s and 90s hit music, and they'll play country and pop and rock, and they are fantastic. A 5-person band, I believe. And all that on April the 21st right here, 2152 North Highland Avenue. And we're going to have a blast. Hope to see you here, Kim. Can you do that?
Sounds like a great time.
Awesome. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Kim. It is 5:43 here on the program. We'll be right back. Dan Reeves, Dr. Mark Fowler, and Larry Newman all in the house. And ain't no doubt. We'll get a look at the weather when we return here on the program. Larry will run that down.
Hear me?
Yes, he will. Next.
When you need a heart expert, you need an expert with heart. Corbin Cardiology is dedicated to providing the highest quality cardiovascular care in West Tennessee. At Corbin Cardiology, our patient-centered approach, along with a full array of diagnostic imaging services, sets us apart from other cardiovascular clinics. Corbin Cardiology has clinics in Bartlett, Dyersburg, Lexington, and the newest location is now open in Jackson at 58 Murray Guard Drive. To schedule an appointment in office or by telemedicine, visit CorbinCardiology.com
or call 731-513-5701.
Hi, my name's Dawn. I have been taking BioT at Advanced Medical. My moods are better. I sleep well. My husband has complimented me on the mood swings that are no longer affecting our marriage.
Are these problems affecting your work, your relationships, and your quality of life? You'll be happy to know there's an exciting, natural solution available called BioT. BioT uses a natural way for men and women to correct these problems by safely and accurately balancing hormone levels without the use of synthetic injections or cream.
I got blood work done, and they identified what hormones were out of balance. They gave me the bioidentical hormone pellets through BioT, and now I have more energy, no more brain fog, I'm sleeping better, and I feel like my old self again. I would recommend Advanced Rehab and Medical and their BioT program to anyone suffering with symptoms like mine. It's been life-changing.
To book your appointment, call 731-462-8580. That's 731-462-8580.
Looking to add a little spice to your love life?
Nothing adds spice like gunpowder.
Jackson's only indoor shooting range. Date night at the range. Here's what you lovebirds get: a shooting lane for two targets, 100 rounds of ammo, eye and ear protection, and a $30 gift certificate to Texas Roadhouse. All for just $99.99.
Now that's firepower.
Perfect for a gift card from the range. The Range, 2310 North Highland Avenue in Jackson.
Go to therange.com.
News Talk West Tennessee includes NewsTalk965.com and NewsTalk 96.5 FM, covering local news, sports, and weather on an extensive network of platforms, including radio, social media streaming, digital TV, live stream, podcasts, all on your devices. Our local and live weekday lineup includes Daybreak with Greg Wood and G-Unit, Walker Talks with Chuck Walker and Julie Holt, The Dan Reeves Show with Gina Langley and Larry Newman, Dave Ramsey, Jackson-Madison County Schools Game of the Week, UT Vols Sports, and the Memphis Grizzlies. Local, live, News Talk West Tennessee and NewsTalk965.com. Hear it first on News Talk 96.5 FM. We might be talking about you.
Hey, this is Chuck Walker with Southeastern Termite and Pest Control. We recently celebrated our 20th year in business here in West Tennessee. That's 2 decades of growth for us. We've added to our work family, moved locations a few times, seen our co-workers have kids and grandkids. We've even seen our clients who were kids when we started at their parents' house now call us to take care of their homes. Lots of things change over 20 years, but here's what hasn't. We can still be reached 24 hours a day. We still provide quality, guaranteed termite and pest control service for all of West Tennessee. We still are the go-to company for real estate closing letters. We still provide quality fungus treatments and affordable moisture barriers. We still take care of your bed bugs, brown recluse, and every other pest problem you could have. If you own a home, you need termite protection. And the biggest thing we've learned in 20 years, we need you. Give us a call 24 hours a day for a different kind of experience from a service company. Southeastern, 660-1052. That's Southeastern, 660-1052.
Hey,
y'all. This is Mary at Mulligan's. Come see us soon before the new wears off. Hard to believe, but we're coming upon an anniversary in our locally family-owned business at Union University Drive. We still have our daily lunch specials, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., which will remind you of Grandma's cooking. Or try our Irish dishes, fish and chips, Reuben's and shepherd's pie, or everyone's favorite, the Mully Burger. And how about brunch on Saturdays and Sundays? Yep, every weekend, serving Jackson for over 25 years. See you soon at Mulligan's.
My name is Steven and I'm 41 years old. I started having problems with my weight, my focus, my energy all around. I spent thousands of dollars a year on supplements trying to get my weight down, and it never worked.
Are these problems affecting your work, your relationships, and your quality of life? You'll be happy to know there is an exciting, natural solution available called BioT. BioT uses a natural way for men and women to correct these problems by safely and accurately balancing hormone levels without the use of synthetic injections or creams.
I got the treatment, and it has been the best decision of my life. I feel great. I'm losing weight. I have more energy. I'm getting stronger in the gym, and I can focus so much better. And I notice that I also sleep better, and I'm always in a good mood. And I believe it's all because of the BioT treatment.
To schedule an appointment to find out if BioTE is right for you, call 731-462-3596. That's 731-462-3596.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Pick up Bud Light at your local convenience store today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Central Distributors, Jackson.
Wake up with Wood. Daybreak with Greg Wood. Weekday morning 6 till 10 on 96.5 FM and NewsTalkWTN.com.
.51 as we kind of wind down here and head into Easter weekend. Hope you all have a great weekend with your loved ones. Relationships, my man. I just Dan Reeves along with Dr. Mike Fowler and Larry Newman. Hello, Newman.
Hello, Reeves.
There was a robbery just the other day. Earlier this week, Tuesday. JPD responded to a robbery at Walgreens. Did you hear about that, Larry?
I read the article on it.
Well, it's they got photos. I haven't heard if they've arrested the suspect or not, but this happened at the corner of Highland and University Parkway around 9:30 Tuesday evening, and they got pictures of the brain surgeon coming in the door. A pretty good shot. Is that a ski mask? Because, when I think of traditional ski mask, the only thing that's visible are the eyes. Now, this is an open face.
Yeah.
Didn't you really hide the face that well, did it?
No, but to be honest, I couldn't give you an accurate description of what that person is. I can't tell if it's a male or a female.
But you need to know your pronouns. I don't get crazy on that. But no, it is hard to tell right there. But I assume they got. But if it was Larry, we'd say, if we knew the person, we may say, well, you know what? I think it's Larry. And I say that's true. So Larry, you should be okay. But yeah, Walgreens. They asked John Dillinger why he robbed banks, and you know what he said? Because it's where the money is. But why do you rob Walgreens? Well, maybe it's where the drugs are.
Toys are.
Well, that's true, too, Larry. That is true. That a witness stated that a man entered the store wearing a light blue hoodie, black mask, and pants. That's good. At least he wore pants, but the witness stated that the suspect approached one of the registers to check out had a beverage, and the suspect then pointed a gun at the clerk and took the money from the register. Risk versus reward don't seem to be there, does it?
Nope.
The suspect last seen running south from the business. Doesn't sound like he was well planned either. Larry mentioned that's the corner of Healthy and Happy, Walgreens. They do sell sex toys there now, adult sex toys. Did you know that, Doc?
No, I have not been to that part of the store. So,
it's because have you seen it, Larry?
Yeah, I've seen it. Well, I heard about it. I had to go check it out. If there's anything I could buy you for your birthday.
Larry said, yeah, thanks for that birthday gift, Larry. She's a real doll. Yeah, so I'm running out of wind, though.
Help!
I was planning on doing something with her this weekend, but I'm running out of wind.
Help!
Take her down to, I guess, a convenience store, put $2 in its, they have a compressor to air up your tires, but
help.
But okay, so it's they just have those adult toys. No kidding, Doc. Larry, I'm telling you the truth, Doc.
Okay.
I understand it damaged my credibility with you, but this is true. It's just on the aisle there,
just where anybody can see them.
Yes, they're not
for crying out loud.
They've got like. They have antacids behind glass,
right?
But not
the sex
these
toys out in the public,
right?
That's magic.
No, they have seriously. I'm not kidding you. They've got vibrators. They've got other things there. They do. It's just sitting on the shelf.
Surely these things are packaged. They're not just in a big bin where you reach down and grab one and so forth.
Yeah, they are packaged.
Okay.
They are. Yeah. I was trying to remember. Like, I had to get a box cutter. To get it, but I was surprised though, Doc, to see that in Walgreens.
That's a little bit much. Walgreens ought to know better than that. I mean, okay, if that's what you want to, if that's what you're into, that's fine. Put them up or just make a sign: sex toys. Ask the clerk behind the counter, who'll be a 16-year-old pimply-faced kid. But then that's another problem.
You know what that is? That has potential to go viral on TikTok. Larry, let's go down there.
That's why their slogan is at the corner of Healthy and Happy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the happy parties where I get my smokes, but now it's the sex toy, adult sex toys in there.
I'm looking for one of them sex toys. We'll take her out. Got some biscuits and mustard. Get a sex toy. What you got back behind there in that counter?
Yeah, they good, all right.
Yeah. But
why didn't this vibrator work? Ain't got no gas.
I kind of want something other day.
Well, it's that's. Well, what if Larry and I walked up to the counter and I said, "Pardon me, sir, which one of these do you prefer?" Which one? Yeah, it's.
What you
recommend, Henry?
That is strange, and it's.
That's bizarre.
And I know it's with the I-40 bookstore, which is now Miranda's, and
I don't frequent all these places. I'm not familiar.
But you
can see it from the interstate.
I believe.
Big sign.
Thank you, Larry. I would have believed you, but it seems like you're working hard to talk us out of thinking you ever stop by there. But no, you can't miss that sign because I used to remember Lamar Alexander.
Yeah,
he went on a crusade before he left the U.S. Senate. He was a holy crusade to stop these dangerous, these ugly, these that just completely changed the landscape, known as a wind turbine.
Yeah.
And I did my best to get him on the air because I had a lot of fun with it. I was waiting on him to switch gears and go on a crusade to saw down all these billboards that litter I-40, especially the ones with, because every time you turn around, Larry, there's one that says Miranda's Adult Gift Shop. Which does more damage to the natural beauty of Tennessee, billboards or wind
she is
turbines?
An attractive lady. Miranda is a little attractive.
She don't work there, though, because I wouldn't ask you, is Miranda here today? I'd like to say hello.
Pleased to meet you.
Yeah, but she's evidently gets a lot of personal holidays. But yeah, I was surprised to see that when I was in there. I was like, I went in there for some antacid, and I wound up on the aisle where they have the adult toys, and I said, now wait a minute. Did I-40 Bookstore buy this place? Is this still? Oh, but that's strange, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
The things that make you, Now, I'm kind of like you, Doug. Hey, sell what you want to.
But geez, be discreet about it.
Right.
You know, I don't care what you do in your bedroom. Just don't do it in public and frighten the horses. That's what I say.
Yeah. Because before we go, though, I wanted to ask you about, because I heard somebody the other day say, yeah, President Trump with his misinformation on COVID, he tried to push horse tranquilizers. Now, I thought that was very misleading. Ivermectin, I was told by a person who shall remain nameless. She told me off the air that her husband, 2 kids, been taking ivermectin for years, and I did a lot of research on it, and I was going down to the co-op getting it, but you can actually get a script from a doctor with ivermectin. What is your thoughts on ivermectin?
I think that there's some evidence out of India that it had some efficacy. And I remember the theory you had to take it with some other things, but generally speaking, until the American Medical Association signs off something, you shouldn't go down and take medicines that you don't understand for a condition that you may or may not have. It's kind of, I'm a big less is better than just enough kind of guy as it comes to medicine.
Fine. No, I was into the co-op and we talked about it on the show. I thought, I'm not, and I didn't recommend it at all. I said, listen, talk with your doctor. It's the best thing to do.
Right.
And, but I do know some friends that had it prescribed in pill form, but I was going down to the co-op and now I didn't have any side effects. Now, we'll say this. I can no longer attend horse shows.
Why is that?
But it intimidates the horses. Yeah, but and I've got a taste for oats. I don't know what that's about.
Right.
But no, I was wondering. Do you think COVID just going to kind of stick around like the flu? Or?
Yeah, we're always going to have COVID with us. It'll become milder and milder and milder. Probably the things that we suffer now in terms of common cold were as bad as COVID 200 years ago.
COVID pretty stout, though, man. It survived Pastor Kenneth Copeland.
COVID-19! COVID-19!
Burn!
I thought it was over after that. Kenneth Copeland. Doc, hope you have a great Easter weekend, my friend.
You too. Thank you so much. It's been a great show. Pleasure to have you. It's good to see you. Good to see you, Larry. Happy Easter.
Good to see you and happy Easter.
And be sure to take your bail bond money, will you?
That's right, because you never know. We have to go get Larry. Dr. Mark Fowler. Oh, thank you, Doc. Have a great weekend. Larry Newman. Larry, have a great Easter weekend, my friend.
You too, Dan.
And coming soon, the original Cheap Seats. On a Saturday morning, for crying out loud, as we expand local programming here on News Talk 96.5 FM, as we stretch across 15 counties in West Tennessee, and the tower move, the antenna move, is in construction phase, boys. We'll be loud and proud, nearly centered in Madison County, before you know it. Thank you, Larry.
Thank you, Dan.
Happy Easter, Doc. Happy Easter to all of you. And to all of you, have a good night. Be sure to leave out cookies for Santa for the Easter Bunny. Thank you, Easter Bunny. Have a great weekend. 6 o'clock, and it's 60 degrees.
I am a part of the disease singing.
This is WBFG 96.5 FM. Parker's Crossroads, Jackson.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Jason Walker. Labor Department remains very resilient despite the continued Fed rate hikes.
U.S. employers added a healthy 236,000 jobs in March, pushing down the nation's unemployment rate to 3.5%. The labor market continues to be a bright spot in the economy. While manufacturing weakens, exports decline, and companies worry about a slowdown. These latest jobs numbers suggest that the Federal Reserve may see the need to keep raising interest rates in the coming months.
That is correspondent Greg Clugston reporting. Unusual measure in the California legislature. It would ban 5 different chemicals found in some of the most popular candy in America today. The bill by Assembly member Jesse Gabriel would ban chemicals found in certain candies like Skittles, Starburst, as well as Peeps. Also at townhall.com, China retaliating for this week's U.S. meeting between Taiwan's president and Republican House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. Here's correspondent Donna Warder.
Today, China announced sanctions against the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library in Simi Valley, California. That's where Wednesday's talks were held between McCarthy and Taiwan's President Tsai Ing-wen. U.S.-China relations have sunk to their lowest level in decades, partly because of disputes over the status of Taiwan, which split with China in 1949 after a civil war. China's ruling Communist Party says Taiwan is obliged to reunite with China and has no right to conduct foreign relations. China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs also announced sanctions against the Hudson Institute, a Washington think tank.
Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas firing back. He says he was not required to disclose the trips he took that were paid for by a Republican donor. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Relief Factor, pain relief that's natural, pain relief that works, and pain relief that attacks the source of the pain. That's the experience of tens of thousands of Americans who are taking Relief Factor right now. See their incredible video endorsements at relieffactor.com and then order your 3-week quick starter pack for just $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Find out if it can work for you like it works for me by ordering your 3-week quick starter pack today. Relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com. Be the next success story.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. I knew we could not put off getting life insurance. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $40 a month. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $18 a month.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-940-6161 or go to SelectQuote.com now. That's 1-800-940-6161. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
If you're in the market, it might be a good time to buy a Tesla.
Tesla is cutting prices on its entire electric vehicle model lineup for the third time this year. The biggest markdown, $5,000 per vehicle for Tesla's slower-selling, more expensive models, the Model S sedan and the big SUV, the Model X. It's apparently an effort to lure more buyers as interest rates creep up. And it comes as Tesla's first quarter sales grew 36%, but fell short of analysts' expectations. I'm Rita Foley.
Over the past few months, many streaming companies have started to eliminate some of their own shows from their library. They claim it helps save the company's money, but brings criticism that they are sidelining marginalized voices, shortchanging creatives out of already slimmer residual paychecks, and in many cases offering fewer options to the customers. Breaking news and analysis, townhall.com.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm John Scott. 236,000 jobs were added last month. Correspondent Shelley Adler reports.
Although the jobs number has moderated since February's gain of 326,000, Mark Hamrick with Bankrate.com says,
this is about as good of a jobs report as we could have expected to get, given the fact that we've been dealing with the financial markets volatility, high inflation, and a year's worth of interest rate hikes.